Hey, what's going on? So we've got today. Look at this. That's old Kenny. That's what I call him. Me and Kenny. Well, we're not at all. But he does this arc park thing, and he really does not like evolution. That seems to be the short and skinny of it all. Is that he does not like evolution at all. He's kind of weird about it. And this is a video of him talking about how he's freaked out about the new AI. Um, Not because nobody's going to know what's true anymore. He kind of I think he would actually like that aspect of it because he's like, oh, thank goodness, because we need people to not be able to tell what's true anymore. We're even less, I guess, because then we get more credibility over here at AIG. But that's not what he's meant. He doesn't like that they're doing the Bible stories wrong. So it's kind of and you can't call them Bible stories. I'm sorry, Ken. Bible accounts. We'll get into it. I'm Brantley. This is the Bug Apostate. Let's go. All right. Like I said, old Kenny doing his thing, getting all worked up about AI Bible stories. It's like they're not doing it right. It's more realistic than that. Okay, you're making it look stupid.
AI can be used for good.
AI-powered smart glasses.
AI saved Luz Torres's life.
A bionic arm powered by artificial intelligence.
And it can be used for evil.
Hearing your daughter's crying voice saying something terrible happened.
Threatened to send AI-generated nude images to his friends and family if he didn't pay up.
AI has learned to bypass commands from humans when asked to shut itself down.
Others are using AI to be able to go through the Bible. Now, they call them Bible stories. I don't like to call them Bible stories. You know, Jonah and the Great Fish, feeding the 5,000, Paul's missionary journey, Jesus on the cross, and so on. I like to call them, accounts. We talk about the historic.
Don't call them stories. They're not stories or accounts. So there's such thing as a true story, right? Like that's a thing that it's like that's a whole section at the fucking library. It says like the true stories. What? Like it's so weird. Okay, man. Anyway,
account, the record of history, the record in the Bible. I don't like to call them stories because the word story has changed meaning, and today the word story has come to mean fairy tale, which is why
that's not what the word. What? No, it's not. No, it didn't change meaning, and it doesn't. The word story doesn't mean fairy tale all of a sudden. That's not. What are you talking about? Like. We use the word stories to say so much. Like, my God, like if you talk to some old guy, like, and you know, you go up to like some dude that's lived, you know what I mean? Usually some Irish guy at a bar. Usually that's the best place to get stories. You get stories from the Irish guy at the bar, and boy, he'll tell you. And they're pretty, and they're true, well, from a certain point of view, you know what I mean?
You have so many atheists who will say things like, oh, the Bible's just a book of stories. They mean it's just a book of fairy tales. You can't trust it.
No. We don't say the book of stories. We're just like, it's a book of fairy tales. Because a lot of it isn't even stories. A lot of it's just fucking letters that some dude wrote to churches and was like, hey, you guys should do this and do that because you're not doing it right. And I'll tell you.
It's the Bible. That's why we have to emphasize.
I'm on an I'll tell you kick for some reason.
Emphasize the Bible is a book of history. We're going to look at some videos.
Absolutely is not a book of history. I mean, it was a book that existed within history. But according to that definition, wouldn't all books be part of history, right? Because it all happens in the past.
Where AI has been used to portray certain events in the Bible. And then I want to comment on them.
What? Okay. I don't know if hold on. Let me go back a second. He said portray. Really weird.
tree. We're going to look at some videos where AI has been used to portray certain events in the Bible, and then I want to comment on them.
Guys, it's Eve. Just started the day, and seriously,
It's the influencer ones. That's what it, where they all have the exact same voice. Although I guess they have women voices now too. It was mostly, you'd see that one, you hear that like one voice. Hey, what's up, dudes? So anyway, like I'm the Bigfoot, whatever, just hanging out in the forest, and I took these shrooms, man, whatever. They got a whole bunch of them. But it always seems like they have the same voice.
look at this garden. There's a serpent, and it basically told me that if I eat the fruit, I'll understand everything.
See, I see why Ken Ham might not like these videos, because when you see it like this way, and she's just saying it. So I was talking to the serpent, right? The serpent was just like, bro, you should totally like just eat this apple. It's supposed to make you a super genius or some shit. All of a sudden we're like, seeing it visually really doesn't help, because now we're just like, oh, this is just made up. This is an absolutely just made up story. Like, because look at this dramatizing it, not helping. You're actually hurting your case here.
Okay, wow. That's actually really good. Kind of crunchy, kind of forbidden. Not bad at all.
Kind of forbidden, it's got that forbidden flavor.
Try this. Trust me, it's eye-opening.
Oh,
Wait,
because that's the voice right there.
why do I feel weird?
Yeah, they have one. It's one voice. Wait, get more voices, AI. What's going on here?
Okay, I think we messed up. We should probably run.
This is literally your fault, Eve.
So we just got kicked out of paradise.
It's literally your fault, Eve. Goddamn women.
Nice.
Drop a like if you've ever been banned from somewhere.
Well, I just watched.
He just can't even. Somebody put loading, a loading joke in there. That was not Ken's idea. I guarantee that. That was one of the kiddos.
I could actually spend the next hour talking about that video because I did not like it at all. I have to tell you.
I did not like it at all. I don't know. No.
There's so much wrong with it.
Why?
They have Eve already with fig leaf clothing before the fall. And then
We all know it was apple. It was apple leaves that were covered because she was eating the apple.
and Eve takes a fruit, and the way she eats
What?
the fruit, it's almost saying, this is a wonderful fruit.
That's actually really good.
Then she has to go find Adam. Well,
Yeah, like I mean, she's like, you acting like it's good or something. Yeah, isn't that the point? It's the forbidden fruit, man. Like it's supposed to kind of taste good. No.
the Bible says Adam was with her when she took it.
Oh shit! So yeah, man, they got the placement of the character wrong. Jesus Christ! What? God damn it! These people are weird. They're so weird about like their stories being told. Like it has to be exactly. My goodness.
Adam says in this video that Eve messed up.
This is literally your fault, Eve.
The Bible makes it clear that it's Adam that messed up. Eve was deceived, but Adam sinned because Adam was the one who was told not to eat the fruit of the tree.
But he blamed. Oh my good God, man! You have no appreciation for art. That is, dude. In the story, he blames her. That's what he said. That's why it's funny, because these things are supposed to be funny. I hope he gets that this is not supposed to be like an actual snapshot from a Bible story or whatever. Like these are supposed to be funny, right? It's kind of just a little gag that like, oh, what if the Bible characters were influencers or had iPhones or whatever the hell the thing is, and so when they're but he's like, oh, it's not exact or whatever, they didn't do exactly my thing, and so it's all bad, it's all evil. Jesus, it's god damn it.
Was the spiritual head. And so
but that was my point too. He did blame her when God was like, what's going on? He was like, it's a fucking woman, man. Like the thing that you took my rib. First of all, missing a rib now, so that's qualm number one, God. Second of all, it's the woman, man. Like that was the problem. It was her fault. Okay. Like I wasn't even going to eat any fruit today. Okay. I was actually cool. I was going to eat one of the lambs that, are over there. that used to fuck or whatever. But like, anyway, that's apparently implied by the Bible. I was not, that wasn't just me being weird. All right, the Bible apparently implies that he fucks the animal, or did before Eve came along. Anyway, but yeah, so he actually does say that in the Bible, and yet I guess the way it was presented in this AI video, not accurate enough. So that's what's wrong with it. Jesus Christ.
That's why Adam gets the blame. We would say that Adam and Eve were probably middle brown when you understand the genetics, the skin color. You don't want to
they're not. They're the skin color's off. Well, okay.
Portray them as Caucasian, so-called white. They're not white. It's not.
They're not white. I mean, come on, like they're clearly Greek, not black either. But because that would go too far the other way. I say
biblically correct, and I think it makes really light of a very serious event.
So God just told me to build a boat.
A very serious event. That is this talking snake telling her to eat a magic fruit. And that's why childbirth hurts and everything. It's just serious stuff. Okay. This is nothing to play with. Okay.
Apparently there's going to be a flood or something. Like, whew, the whole world looks pretty dry. But anyway, I guess I'm a boat guy now. Update. Building a boat is harder than I thought. I hit my thumb twice. Also, pretty sure it's not even waterproof.
I hit my thumb twice. Okay, that's pretty funny. That's pretty good.
Animals have been pulling up to the boat in pairs. I guess they know what's about to go down. We've just been hit. Oh my God! Woo! Let's go. This is crazy.
What is happening? What is he doing? It looks like he's not even. I get that it's supposed to be that like he's watching the video on his phone or whatever, but it looks like he's just not paying attention. It looks like he's just off. Hold on, I got to do something first. So we can continue the video in a minute here. I got to do a thing. I got to finish up my correspondence. That's what I'm doing there.
That's taking God's name in vain.
Finally touched
What?
grass.
Oh my good God, I didn't even hear it because I just don't give a shit about that shit so much. Hold on.
Woo! Animals have been
Wait,
pulling up to the boat
oh my God.
in pairs. I guess they know what's about to go down. We've just been hit. Oh my God! Woo! Let's go. This is crazy.
That was it. Oh, and you can see him look like he's mad. Oh my God, you can't say that. He was just talking to God, man. Like you can't just make it like he's actually addressing the thing that he was talking to because it's a story from the fucking Bible.
That's taking God's name in vain.
Whoa.
Finally touched grass. Not gonna lie, that was a hell of a ride by God, but we made it. Only 2 of each animal, though.
Let me guess. It's like it wouldn't be all green like that. That's ridiculous. It would have been like mud and nastiness everywhere. All the vegetation is dead. There's no like
That's gonna be pretty wild the next few years.
Okay. I mean, I had to do what I could to not throw my phone on the floor and stamp on it.
What? Why, man? What the hell is wrong with you?
That's how bad it was.
What? I don't know. What? That was like a joke or something? They said it was AI generated. Hold on.
Of a ride by God, but we made it. Only 2 of each animal, though. That's going to be pretty wild.
What the hell? Hold on. What is that? I didn't even see
That's
that.
taking God's name in vain.
The shape.
Finally touched grass. Not
The shape of the
lie, that was a hell of a-
lion's face. Hold on. It's like going back and forth between anteater and lion. Like it's just what the hell is happening?
ride by God, but we made it. Only 2 of each animal,
Guys,
though. That's
look
going
at
to be
that.
pretty wild the next few years.
What's going on?
Okay.
All right. Okay. How's everybody doing? We all doing okay? You all feeling good? You getting your sleep? You're drinking lots of water. That is a huge that is a huge concern lately. Okay. There was like a heat index, I want to say yesterday, of like you're gonna die if you go outside. That's what the heat index was. Specifically, it said that. Who won today? Let me see. Pandora's Pinata's back on top. Oh yeah, there we go. What's going on, man? I said, hey folks, hope you're having a great day. Or not. I'm not making any universal claims. That's good. That's good. Don't do that. Definitely don't make any absolute enclaves. And let's see, Benny. What's up, Benny? How you doing? Oh, and PC a second. Hold on. PC, what's going on? Pragmatic Crystals here. What's up? Oh yeah. And please do, like, share, subscribe, all that type of stuff. I'd appreciate it. And and the Patreon. And all the, just go, you could just take a look at the list of the links that Pragmatic Crystal provided in the chat, just like at the very beginning there. It's very helpful for a lot of reasons. All right, who was third? Let's see here. Benny, what's going on, Benny? How you doing? Okay, well, start up. But you know what? Why don't you just pipe down, bucko? Okay, I'll start when I feel like it. All right, and because I don't do one of those little countdown things, I'm allowed to be at least like up to 17 minutes late. How long do those countdown things usually go? About 17 minutes. I don't know how long they usually go. I don't watch a lot of live streams at the very beginning. I check in, halfway through. That's how I got to do it. All right, who else here? Let's see. Drusilla, how you doing? What's up? Hey, Logan's here too. What's up, dude? Grand Theft Auto bot. What's going on? Brentley, Punk Up, that is all me. Yes. Hey, what's up? We got, let's see. Who else we got here? Oh, Jessica. What's up, Jessica? Doing all right? So, gotta love the clunky acting. Yeah, I do. I actually do love clunky acting. That's why I like those British slapstick comedy shows. That's pretty much all that's going on there. The sequel one. What's up, man? How you doing? So I don't lollygag. I just gag. And I get it, especially, and if you want to gag, just go to adamandeve.com and they got literal things to gag on specifically that are made just, not just for gagging, but like they work really good at it, what are they called? Dildos. That's right. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout. You get 50% off almost any wood item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley. Okay. Here we go. Damn it, it's hot in here. I don't know what's going on. It's hot. All right, who else is in the chat here? So I think there might be a few left that I would say to, and then we'll go. Ember, oh yeah. How's it going, Ember? Doing all right? Oh yeah. What is up? Let's see. Are you feeling any better, Ember? Doing all right? Ember's dealing with some medical stuff. That sucks. I kind of am too. So, but not that I don't think I'm anywhere near what Ember's going through. So let's save the compassion for them. Anyway, Wolfos, how we doing? What's up? Wolfos said, "Ayo, it's weird being a daytime assistant manager for 16 years of thirds to whatever this daytime crap is. How you doing?" It's daytime assistant manager from 16 years of thirds. I feel like I'm not understanding. Thirds being like a third of the you cut out the third, so it's a third of, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what percentages we're talking about here, but that does sound weird. I'm just going to agree. I'm just going to smile, nod, and agree. That's all we do.
I mean, I had to do what I could to not throw my phone on the floor and stamp on it.
Oh, third shift. Got it. No, yeah, third shift. Wait, is that the all night one? The one that like starts at 11 p.m. or some shit and then goes till 7 a.m. Oh god, that's the worst. I used to get stuck with that during emergency things where you had to do shelter stuff, and it was actually okay, because everybody was asleep, and so I didn't have to deal with all of the crazy people at the shelter, screaming and yelling and stuff because they were all asleep by the time I would get there. Anyway.
That's how bad it was.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention again.
To not throw my
phone
on the floor and stamp on it.
Do you think, is this actually AI generated?
That's how bad.
Not AI. He just did that. He ran like 4 steps. Like, I can't do it anymore. Can we just do the first 2 steps, please? because he like ran over and actually stops on the phone, I bet. And they're like, but he like stopped halfway, like, you know, having a breathing attack.
Bad it was. First of all, it says Noah's to go out and build a boat. A boat? It was an ark. It was a great ship, but it just makes out that it's just, some little boat. And then he says, God's going to...
Okay. Again, with the weird qualms here, you know, he didn't use the right word when he said boat, because it was that the boats are just, the boat being small. Is that right too? I feel like boats like kind of all encompassing, isn't it? Like it could be, couldn't a yacht be a fucking boat? I don't know. Whatever.
In a flood or something. I mean, it's so frivolous. This is what seemed to come through in these AI videos. They just make light of all these situations.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, they're supposed to be funny, man. They're, if the Bible characters were influencers. That's why they're like holding their phone and stuff. It's meant to be funny. Weird.
It's your boy Kane, firstborn farmer, future legend.
And I'm Abel, shepherd, secondborn, fan favorite.
All right, y'all. Big offering day. I brought the best crops I've got. Super organic, 0 preservatives. Yeah. I just brought this little guy.
That was good. That was fun. 0 preserve. That was funny. That was good.
Unbelievable. God liked Abel's offer, gave him the full divine thumbs up. And mine, nothing. I bust my back farming and he gets all the clout.
I just did something really bad. Like, will this end up on Bible News or something?
So yeah, God.
I mean, they're even saying like Bible News and everything. Like, come on. It's like meant to be funny. Jeez Louise.
Said I'm cursed. I've got a mark now. Fugitive life begins. No clue what's next.
What mark? Where's the mark? I didn't. We're not gonna see the mark. Hashtag not impressed. Why, man? What the hell? You're like, they're not taking it serious enough. It's too funny. Is the problem. It's not like trying to prove the truth with science. That doesn't really make any sense. But
there's a recurring theme through these AI videos on the accounts from the Bible, the events in the Bible, and that is they're just making light of things and they're not true to Scripture.
Dude, no, they are making light, because again, it's if Bible characters were influenced. Oh my God damn.
And they're taking away from the real meaning of what God is teaching us. I mean, this stuff is awful. I have to tell you, I would not want my kids or grandkids watching these videos at all. I mean, you can use AI to pull.
Why? What? Like, what would it? Why is it bad for kids, dude? Like, because it's like a kid's gonna be like mad at the Bible because, like, no, hold on. I saw an AI video, and it showed that Eve was by herself talking to the serpent. And now this stupid book is trying to say that Adam was there too. I don't think so. I'm not buying this. Okay, clearly the AI video is the one that's accurate here. I got it. You know what? This whole religion sounds stupid. I'm out of here.
Portray events in the Bible, but if it's not accurate and it makes light of the situation and doesn't teach the true meaning of what God is revealing to us in His Word, then we should not be doing it at all. You know, when you come to our
solved what, dude? These like videos and hashtags and other just like trying to reach the youths stuff that he does with his videos make no sense.
To attractions, the Ark Encounter in the Creation Museum, one of the things that you'll find is we portray
much more realistic. Look at this, man. Look at that. That's what Cain really looked like. You know,
what the Bible says,
Jesus,
very, very accurately. Now, there are times when we can have our
unbelievable that they like have enough money to make an animatronic character from the Bible. Like they're like the reminds me of when they redid the Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know if anybody's been back to, you know, I live in Florida, so it's not hard to get back and forth to Disney too often. And they redid Pirates of the Caribbean after the movie came out, and they added in this Johnny Depp, you know, Jack Sparrow character or whatever, who moved so much more fluid than everybody else in the ride, which is kind of funny. I was like, you need to go back and upgrade everybody else now, because he looks different. But yeah, it reminds me of that. That's like what it looks like. It's just like some like animatronic character that talks to you and tells stories and stuff. And that was sort of what Jack Sparrow was doing at the end of the ride. I don't know.
Artistic license. But when we do artistic license, it's not done in a frivolous way, and it doesn't
Stop being cringe, Ken. Oh, Kenny.
take away from the message. For instance, deck 2 of the Ark, we have an exhibit, Who Was Noah? And there's artistic license because we're saying,
yeah, true. So it's not giving it's not portraying the true meaning. Here's it equals my meaning, whatever I subjectively interpret it to mean.
hey, perhaps Noah was already building ships and God had already prepared him for the ministry of building the ark. And that's very feasible. And we're not making light of any situation. We're saying that
Pandora's Mignon said our ark encounter is much closer to the actual account, down to the smallest detail, like the water damage insurance claim that we had, because our ark encounter flooded, which is just too funny.
God already prepared Noah so that he could build the ark, because he didn't ask what an ark was or how to build a ship. He just did whatever God commanded him to do. And we use that to
it's a boat, Ken. Quit being weird.
say God uses circumstances in our own lives to prepare us for ministry he's called us to. And so we can
Look, it's like they used asbestos. Well, now they're going to have to hire a whole team to get that stuff out of there. Otherwise, they're going to end up getting sued.
apply it in the right sort of way. Now, that's very different to what many of these AI videos are doing. With AI, we have
a class action lawsuit there
to have, another level of careful diligence. And the reason is because AI is programmed by humans.
No shit.
Because it's programmed by humans.
Wait, I thought it was programmed by angels. It's not programmed by angel. How did they make it so good then? I don't understand.
There are programming biases that we have to be very, very careful of. You can ask AI on Google, for instance, a question, and it'll come back with an answer and summarize what it finds, but that doesn't mean
Wait. What did they ask? I got to see this little
You
example
can
here.
ask
Did
AI
Ken Ham
on Google,
build
for
the
instance,
ark?
a question.
What? Did Ken Ham build the ark Gorilla Glue? What?
And it'll come back with
No, Ken Ham and the Ark Encounter did not build the Ark using Gorilla Glue. Okay, so I guess you're saying Ken is like, they're wrong about stuff, because clearly we did use Gorilla Glue, and that's why I used this example that's clearly, it's just not working. The AI is not working. See, it just has biases because of the type of glue is very obviously a bias of the AI.
an answer and summarize what it finds, but that doesn't mean it's all necessarily true. And that's the problem. On our own website of Answers in Genesis, we actually are starting to introduce AI in our search engine. And so for those that register and
You have too much money. You have too much fucking money. Why? Somebody should set up some kind of protest outside this guy's place or something. I just, I feel like that should be something that should happen. You know what? Because he's got too much goddamn money. And I think he even gets a subsidy from the fucking government, which is basically just a handout. It's socialism, really. I don't, anyway.
Actually have an account with us, and anyone can do that. People can ask a question instead of coming up with links like normally a search engine. You type in, where did Cain get his wife, and it'll come up with a series of links.
Misinterpretations. How you doing? How we doing? What's going on? I said, Ember, I'm so excited about our show this Tuesday. Oh, okay. We're all gonna have to tune into that. Where is it? Is it gonna be live? Let us know. So I don't know. Maybe Pragmatic Crystal can pop some links in the chat, because that'd be awesome if we could all know exactly what's going on there and when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen and all that type of good stuff.
Of articles we've written there. But if you use the
But hello, that was the main thing that I was trying to say. Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
AI chat box and ask a question, it'll summarize the answer for you. Now, we've worked with a Christian group who's been very careful in regard to the programming. And
very cool. Okay. Yeah. So it'll be honest misinterpretations. Said, hey, Pokemon, say, I'll create a link. Yeah, please do. Yeah, pop it in there. We'll see how it. Oh, I don't know if you might. Put it in there, but it might have to be reposted by one of the mods. But oh wait, Ember can do it. Ember's a mod.
We're testing it to make sure it comes up with the right summary, the right answers. That's what
I'm saying that because I think the mods have the right, they have the right. That's right. You only get certain rights when you're in the right is not the right word there. I feel like there's a different one. Anyway, but right to put in links. I think I don't know. I could be way off on this whole thing.
you have to be careful about with
There
AI.
we go. Okay.
And so we're taking it very,
Cool.
very slowly, a step at a time. In a world full of fakes and lies, we desperately need the truth found in the Bible. Yet the prince of this world, the devil, is continually attacking God's word throughout our society. And how? Watch this video to hear my thoughts on Satan.
On Satan? What? Okay. All right. Maybe wait, it's an hour and 11 minutes long. No, Ken. Sorry. You almost had me. You almost had me. I saw the Satan and I was like, we gotta watch that. But it's an hour and 11 minutes. I can't handle an hour and 11 minutes of you. You kidding me? No. We're gonna watch something else. Thank you very much, Kenny. All right, so I don't know. I was gonna watch this one, but it almost seems like they're just kind of like walking through logic that we all understand pretty clearly, but they're very blown away by it, which is kind of funny. You're like, whoa, you can have fallacious reasoning? This is crazy. Oh my god. Like, it is kind of funny that they're like so just blown away that this is something that exists that they never understood prior. And I'm kind of glad that they are doing it as far as like the video goes, because I don't think this is going to help. I think they think this is going to help their theology or whatever. It's not going to help your theology, dude. If anything, it's going to like make more make more people deconstruct. I was going to watch this thing, but it turns out there's somebody in it that platforms racists and shit, and I don't feel like dealing with all that. Let's see. What else was there? Oh, this is the crazy. Okay. I know I've been watching this a little bit. This channel is massive. First of all, hold on. I want to see if we can take a look at the channel. I watched this for way too long. Dude, they look okay. Where is it? 2.74 million subscribers on this channel. 2.74 million subscribers to this dude's channel. Now, keep that in mind just as you're listening to the words that come out of this guy's face, okay? Because it's infuriating. You're just like, what the hell is even happening?
Well, yet more evidence is growing by the day that the federalization of Washington, D.C. Metro Police by President Trump does, in fact, involve cleaning out the underground satanic networks as well as petty crime and homelessness on the streets.
The what? The what? The underground satanic network? What?
Out that, as we've reported on this over the past couple of months here on the show, that these underground satanic tunnels
the tunnels there are satanic. They're the type of tunnels that don't like Jesus.
Ground underneath Washington, D.C. And actually, members of the House of Representatives have actually called these out, and they've lost their jobs for telling the truth about what's actually down here, what's actually going on underneath D.C. It turns out these satanic networks would compromise public officials by using these underground SRA rituals, thereby impacting the performance of federal institutions, which basically constitutes treason.
What? Hold on. Is he seriously saying that because they do, this isn't happening? Just want to throw that out there ahead of the game. Nothing's happening. None of this is real. Maybe there's tunnels down there. That's it. But because they're doing Satan magic on and cursing certain I don't know, the democratic institutional whatever processes or whatever, because they're cursing that stuff with the magic, the Satan magic, that's treason? Is that what I got? Did y'all hear that? Is that what y'all got? Hold on.
For telling the truth about what's actually down here, what's actually going on underneath DC. It turns out these satanic networks would compromise public officials by using these underground SRA rituals, thereby impacting the performance of federal institutions, which basically constitutes treason. And Trump knows about it.
Holy shit. No, yeah, that's what he said. I mean, I think, anyway. So, like, sorry, I don't know. I don't know all the words that he said. Just said, I'm not sure, but they said on. Oh, we were talking about the movie. Oh, I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, we'll look into that. I think on Discord it should be fun. We all want to do where we watch a movie together on Discord. We're trying to figure out the tech end of it because I don't understand anything about tech. I'm going to be honest. Pretty bad at that. Just have a hard time with it. Especially Discord. I've been using Discord for I don't even know how long, and I still feel like I'm like, wait, how do you use this thing again? Like, I'll get confused. I'm like, where did the chat go? I'm confused. Anyway, but I'm old. I feel like that makes me old. But Jessica said, we only deal with the truth in the Bible. Now go watch this video about a post-biblical concept. I know, right? It's like they're making videos and stuff. Like, what do you God? And if this is what's so funny about like Christians doing this stuff, because like if Ken Ham made I know we're talking about the last video, but like if Ken Ham made a Noah movie and was like, this is the perfect biblical accurate version of this account, not story, because stories are fairy tales, an account, whatever, there'd be like a dozen Christians that would come, like other denominations and stuff, that would come forward and be like, no, actually, blah, 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 and they would be like, it was not like this, it was like that, because none of them agree as to like what the truth, like how the stories are actually to be interpreted and everything. So no, it's just really funny the way that they act like their subjective interpretation of their doctrine, their denomination, of their religion is like objective, and it's enough for him to like be able to get mad when a video isn't accurate to the degree he likes.
And the inner circle knows about it. That's why they're doing this. And by the way, the mayor of DC just admitted that crime has now plummeted in DC thanks to the federalization and the National Guard troops that are in Washington, D.C.
I don't think he did. No, I don't think that's right. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he may have said the crime rate had already plummeted, jackass. They didn't need any fucking military people there. Like they were like a 33-year low of crime. Like crime had been steadily going down for so long. It was like 33% less than the year prior. Like there was no reason for this. It's insane. But like, they're going to be like, well, crime went totally away because of all the military police that are all over the. We're not fascists at all. Like, dude, did you see those videos of like people following the soldiers around playing the Star Wars Empire music? That was pretty cool. And I gotta say, it fit. It fit.
DC crime has all but disappeared thanks to the U.S. military being there. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It is crazy that you would have a president send the military to a city. Dude, can you imagine? Imagine if Biden had sent the fucking military to like break up an anti-mask protest. Dude, they would have lost their fucking minds. They would have gone so insane about that. This is fashion. Like they were trying to say that just asking them to like not spread a disease as best you can anywhere. Anyway, I get that it's not perfect, but that doesn't mean that you don't get to, you get to just not do anything. But you just ask them to do that. They're like, tyranny. Then like as soon as their guy gets in power, they're building concentration camps in Florida with like no AC and and mosquitoes everywhere and everything, just because they want to be cruel on purpose, because that's their whole thing. Holy shit, they would lose their mind. I wish we would made a concentration camp just for anti-maskers. You know what I mean? That's what Biden should have done. We should have had an alligator Alcatraz just for right wingers that won't wear masks or get vaccinated. You know what I mean? They would have lost their damn minds.
Michael Sala was the man that broke the story originally. He broke it wide open a number of weeks ago here on our show, and now has more evidence. More evidence is emerging that he was right.
And I don't think that's true. Nope. Nineveh said, Nineveh said, they lost their shit when they came to Texas running military drills. Really? That was they just came there to do some military drills. Like, this is tyranny. I don't even know. Like, look at them out there just doing the same thing over and over again. That feels pretty fascist. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
In fact, Doctor, welcome back to the show. Great to see you. Oh, it sounds like you're muted, Doc.
Yeah, can they not edit that? You have millions of subscribers. You can't edit that out, man. You can't like make your doctor not look stupid because you forgot to unmute.
We good now?
Yes, I was muted, so thanks
no
for having
worries.
me back.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
How embarrassing, man, to their 2.47 million subscribers, and he's mute. Unbelievable.
We always have our guests mute their microphones before they join us. Because
You know, I don't want to hear your little making excuses crap. Okay, just edit this out. Just edit it all out. You fucking idiot.
Guests live on the show, so they might hear like a cat in the background or a dog in the background. So
Still making excuse. This is insane. Just be like, we ask people to mute before we get on the show. That's it. You're done. Now you've made the excuse. We can move on.
So that's us asking you to mute.
Excuses. Exactly.
So thank you. But I do want to bring your attention to this new headline that just came out.
He is not a stupid doctor. It's just, we asked him that was basically my fault. I'm the stupid non-doctor, but he's not stupid.
About military lawyers handling civilian crimes in Washington, D.C. And I think, to your point, this is further evidence that.
Yeah, no, that is true. Sorry, I'm letting react to the chat. Ember was saying, reminder that the lockdowns and mask mandates were 2020 under Trump, which is true. That is true. But Biden did it too, and then they all miraculously forgot that Trump had done the exact same thing prior, and even Trump at the time was like, I don't even like mask mandates. I don't even know why everybody's doing it. Biden's a train wreck. Sleepy Joe.
This is exactly, you cannot rely on the Satanists that are running Washington, D.C. to prosecute their own, can you? You need the military to basically step in.
Wait, isn't Trump running? Hold on. Isn't Trump running D.C., man? What are you talking about? Saying that the Satanists run D.C., but it's not Trump. And that's why Trump had to send the military to quell the satanic rule that is in D.C., where the White House is. I'm so confused.
And in Washington, and now handle the caseload from these people.
Well, that's right. Yes. I mean, what we have here is a situation where these satanic networks have been operating for decades, compromising officials from all branches of government.
What? How? They're compromising officials because of the networks, the tunnels. It's the tunnels that are compromising stuff.
Including the judiciary, which is very, very important, because that means when it comes to the arrest of Satanists that are apprehended.
So the Satanists running the whole show now.
In these underground enclaves, which can extend as far as 10 miles underground. In Washington, D.C. and elsewhere around the country, that when it comes to trying these officials, you can't do it through the normal court system because a lot of these judges are compromised themselves.
Oh, my God. And now the judges are compromised because, the Satanists got to them. They got to them, and they threw some demons in their brain. So now they're just a demon-brained judge. Just, making compromising decisions. I don't know what the hell. Logan said, being pro-police and use prosecute your own as an argument is wild. Yeah, it really is.
So the normal courts cannot operate. And such a situation, that's where the military courts come in. And also another consideration for why these Satanists being arrested are being subjected to some kind of military judicial process is that the punishment in the civilian courts for sedition or treason is a maximum of 20 years imprisonment and a fine, or both. Whereas in the UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, people that are convicted of sedition, treason are sentenced to death.
Yeah,
And
I knew it. I knew that's where he was going with this, because they love that. They love to always mention that. I don't know if you know this, but the the penalty for treason is, what is it again? Oh, death. That's right. That's right. Just like during the Civil War.
now, normally the USMJ, that does not apply to civilians unless martial law has been declared, or as in the situation currently in the United States, when normal judicial courts can't function. Now, of course, they can function at a superficial level in dealing with petty crime and so forth, but as far as trying individuals that have been compromised
satanically,
which includes members of the judiciary, then I think you can make a very strong case that civilian courts should not be trying these, because some of the judges themselves may be compromised and may be, in fact, under investigation. So
what the hell does that mean, compromise? Like, what the hell? Like, I feel like you got to actually, I mean, I guess they love the ambiguity, right? They can kind of hide behind the blurry lines of the ambiguity here, because like he's not actually saying anything. He's just like, yeah, they're compromised. These judges need to be brought to like military tribunals because they can't use civilian courts because they've been compromised by the satanic hallways that are underground or whatever the fuck.
I think that's why the military courts are being secretly used, convened under some
Of course,
kind
it's secret.
of
Yeah, it's all being secret. Like, I don't know how you know about it, but
special tribunal, and which is why I believe these JAG officers have been summoned.
What'd you just call him? You call him a jag-off? Spitzer? What?
To Washington, D.C.
He's fucking jag-off, Spitzer.
To begin helping in the prosecution of so-called petty crime, but I think that's just a cover for these deeper satanic crimes.
What is a satanic crime, man? What does that even mean? What are you talking about?
That's amazing. And
it is amazing. That almost sounds like he's making fun of him. That's amazing. That, yeah, you're saying what you just said. That, wow.
Isn't being reported. I mean, you have JAG officers coming into Washington, D.C. to handle.
It is so hard for me not to hear jag-off when they say, this jag-off over here is fucking.
The amount of crime that they're having to now handle outside of the, like, basically the Satanists who are running Washington, D.C. This is an incredible story. PJ Pickett in our chat just said, what's scary about this, but it's like they're like sort of putting it right in our faces, like they're sort of flaunting this. It's like kind of out there in the open in a lot of ways. And
God, his audience is so stupid. Like every time he's like, and an audience member is actually saying, what is that now? George Soros is actually a robot in a human skin suit that mated with reptilian humanoid. Can that be right? Is that what he said? Yeah, mated with, but robots and reptilians, they can't mate together. It doesn't even make any sense. But that doesn't count for the rules. Don't count for conspiracy. Got it. So no, actually, they mated. The reptilians and the human, the robot and the human skin suit had kids that are robot skin suit with the lizard inside. I'm very confused.
And now we actually have the military there to stop it.
Well, yes, the military
flaunting this. It's like kind of out there in the open in a lot of ways. And now we actually have.
Well, but that's like a thing they like to say. They like to be like, they're hiding in plain sight. They're just throwing it in our face. That's why all the symbols are out there. everywhere you look, there's a pyramid, and an eye or whatever. It's just right in her face. Just so disrespectful. Just putting your symbols like that. God.
The military there to stop it.
Well, yes, the military are, I think, the only branch where you have officials running it who have been thoroughly screened and vetted and have no real ties to these satanic networks. And so that's why there is this ongoing campaign to clean out these.
How do you test? How do you test for their Satan connections? I'm very like curious about that. That like, what is the? How do you figure this out? You put holy water on them or something, and if it burns them, they're like, nope, no demon in there. We're good. We're good. Next. Can we just get the squirt gun out here? Do we got a super soaker? Let's do this. Yeah, just spray them in the face.
Satanic networks, not just in the Washington, D.C. area, but also other areas in the United States.
And the demons forgot to complete their pentagram. They got like, they almost got the whole thing, and they're like, I am tired. Can we just wrap this thing? I feel like the devil gets it. We did mostly a pentagram. He's cool with that, right? We're good.
It's where you have the same networks operating, compromising public officials and the judiciary too. So really,
there's another one. Look at that. Look, there's a horn here. It's a horn and a horn. I don't know, man.
The civilian courts are not the way to prosecute Satanists who have been apprehended. And the military tribunals that have been, I believe, secretly set up, that's the way to proceed. And really, in terms of
why? What, the military tribunals? Those are going to be able, the secret, by the way, secret military tribunals, those are the way to prosecute Satan crimes. Come on, dude.
Giving out justice.
Unreal.
I think the justice can only be achieved through these very stringent penalties that you find in the Uniform Code of Military Justice rather than in civilian courts.
And we've been talking about this in terms of the Masonic order, right? And
of course, the Masonic order, that's related somehow.
Maybe you can educate our audience a little bit if they're new to this or they missed your appearance on our show a couple of weeks ago. Maybe you can lay out sort of the pentagram description and describe just how insidious this is.
Sure, yes. Well, we have an inverted pentagram in the design of Washington, D.C., but it's a broken pentagram, not a intact pentagram. And that actually has more occult significance because it's an invitation for the devil or Satan to come in. And so in the middle of that pentagram...
What? How is it? Okay. I think we watched a clip from this before, because now either that or they just keep going over the same stuff, which is entirely possible. But because I remember him talking about it's not completed, and that's even more satanic, actually, because it's an invitation for Satan to come finish his symbol up. He's like, I hate seeing half-done symbols. I really need to get in there and finish this. So it's like, I feel like I'm being invited when I see like half-done pentagrams, because then I just have to show up and just finish it. It's like, hearing the first three notes of a song that is well known, and you have to finish it. It's like you can't. I'm just trying to think of an example, and I can't. I don't. Anyway,
it's major access is on 16th Street, Washington D.C.
The 6th. It's the 16th Street. Okay, we're backing out of here. It's like I said, I feel like we're ready to do this, but yeah, it was fun, right? I just can't believe how popular that channel is. That's what freaks me out about it. Honestly, it's just the 2.7 million. That's honestly, there's more subscribers than. I'm trying to think of somebody that has just like the 1 million. Isn't it like Tim Pool? Doesn't Tim Pool have like 1 million? So he has more than Tim Pool. Like, that's crazy. That makes no damn sense. My God. The hell is happening? All right. Let me go back. You know what? Maybe we can, because think that was all I had. And like I said, we can watch this for a second. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. Watch. It's like they're just explaining how logic works. So it's
Yourself
kind
out
of
of your
funny.
position and
But I do love how like I love how like surprised kind of they were like, this is so neat. It's like how to think, and it's wild. First here, we'll see where we're at here. This is so the new one. Oh, they got the chapters. Perfect. Okay. Because I kind of want to go through like how she decided to do this or whatever, because that was kind of funny.
so that we can recognize a bad argument or when we're doing it.
Yeah.
You will be
For a life. So I thought this election, right? And everything that happened. And I watched
A little bit further.
So I read it and went through the book with these kids.
That was it. Okay.
We have homeschooled her since she was 4 years old. She just graduated from high school, but I've been a
That poor kid. That poor kid. I wonder if she's got like, I mean, I was never taught logic at all, or they calling it critical thinking or whatever, which is fine. That's what it is. But I was never taught any of that stuff. So maybe maybe she's going to be a little better off than I was. But yeah, being homeschooled from childhood to high school, don't recommend it. It's really hard to figure out anything, just anything, especially if you're being homeschooled by fundamentalist nut jobs that just want to teach you that Ken Ham's beliefs are all true or whatever, and that your science class is why science is stupid and they all hate God, and there's no, true science is just read the Bible and because God wanted it that way. Shut up, stop asking.
homeschool mom for 13 years. And when my daughter was in 7th grade, it was the year 2019, 2020, which as we know was the year everything went crazy, right?
Yeah,
it was the year.
It's the year that everybody lost their critical thinking.
Yeah, it all went out the window. It's crazy. So in 2020,
I think it was bad before that, but okay.
my daughter was in 7th grade, and part of her curriculum was this book called The Fallacy Detective. And it was basically just a fun introduction to these middle schoolers.
The Fallacy Detective sounds like an atheist channel, dude. Like it does. It sounds like an atheist YouTube channel where they watch other debates or something. They're detect the fallacy, and he's got a little fallacy counter, up in the corner. It's bing, and he every time he's that's a fallacy, and he's got a little magnifying glass or whatever. Probably has one of those weird double brimmed hats, the detective hat. I don't even know what that hat is. It's just, is that a detective hat from Britain back in the 1800s or something? I don't know.
For critical thinking, it introduced some logical fallacies, and I was leading her class, so I read it and went through the book with these kids. I had never learned logical fallacies, so this was totally new for me. But these kids loved it, right? They're at this middle school age, and what's the number one thing middle schoolers want to do? They want to argue with you, right? If you say, what time is it? Oh, it's 12:01.
Be the change you want to see in the world. That's damn right. That's right. And that's why I go streaking regularly. I was if everybody would just do this, the world would be a better place. There would be no wars. There would be no wars if everybody was naked, because we'd all just start consensually having sex. And if you want to, consensually have sex, go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley. That's BRENTLY at checkout. Get your exclusive offer. Get your butt some stuff.
No, it's not. It's 12:02. Right. Okay. Yes. 12:02. All right. So that's where their brain is at. Their brain is developing. So these kids picked up.
The middle schoolers are when they start arguing. That's where
these logical fallacies really quickly. So we roll into this the pandemic, and then the internet fact checkers, and then we go into this election, right? And everything that happened. And I watched these kids go
Yes, and she's complaining that the kids are asking questions and not just still consuming their bullshit or their horseshit. Yeah, exactly.
through that time period, and they went
That's why I'm kind of surprised that they're teaching the kids fallacies and critical thinking at all. Like that was avoided by my family quite purposefully, it seems, because if you start going, wait, how do I know X is true? Well, then you start applying that to like the stuff they demand that you just decide is true, like a carpenter coming back to life and flying away into the sky, and a talking snake convincing a woman made of a rib to eat a magical fruit. And that's why that carpenter that flew away into the clouds had to sacrifice himself to himself in order to convince himself to save the world from himself. So yeah, I don't think they want to teach that.
do it so differently than a lot of their peers just because they had a little introduction to critical thinking. Like,
do you want to fight a dog? I don't personally. They toddlers can be pretty badass. Okay, they're just getting their teeth coming in. They bite hard. All right, they bite about as hard as a woodland creature of some sort, like a squirrel, right? Have you ever been bitten by a squirrel? It hurts. Okay, they got these buck teeth right in the front, and it hurt. Anyway,
watching a political debate with kids who are just a little bit trained in how to recognize logical fallacies is a whole different experience because they're calling them out. They'll be like, well, that's a red herring, that's an ad hominem. And I thought, oh my goodness, because I started seeing them all over the place as well. I thought
I bet you money they think that an ad hominem is anytime anybody calls anybody a name or is insulting at all. That seems to be like the right wingers, like or just theists' favorite thing. Like, oh, that's just an ad hominem. You're ad hominiming right now, bucko, with your insults and stuff. And you always got to be just like, no, it's not an ad hominem unless I'm saying that you are incorrect because of the name that I called, because you are the insult that I got. Like that's not what we're doing. We're just insulting you as well as making well-reasoned arguments.
if more people had this skill, we would not be in the place that we are because it affects every area of our life. So I thought, well, I can do this. So I started a podcast. I teach critical thinking to parents. It's really aimed at middle schoolers and high schools in short, fun episodes. It's really
okay. So just to be clear, the reason that she started this podcast, this critical thinking podcast, was because the middle schoolers taught her what critical thinking was and what fallacies are and all this type of stuff. And so that, Jesus.
And so the parents can hit play while they're in the car with their kids. They can all learn as a family, short episodes, and have a conversation about it and start recognizing it all around them. So anyways, I love it. I just hit
the part that I wanted. So that just wanted to be clear. So like that was, I mean, it wasn't because of the middle schoolers teacher, but like the curriculum that she was reading, that she came across or whatever to teach the kid, that was what got her introduced to what critical thinking was at all. Like that was her first introduction to it, which just is kind of funny. But I wanted to get to the point where they were saying, and I'm glad that we got little chapters to add here, because a lot of it's just, explaining stuff that we already know, like what an ad hominem is, like what critical thinking is, critical thinking and fallacy, and what cognitive bias is. They're just describing stuff. But I really wanted to get straw man, the ad hominem, emotionalism, and relativism prevent people from understanding other people. That could be interesting. But she was saying at the one point that, or it's the thumbnail or something, was saying that if you understand critical thinking, then your theology will be more solid or something. And I was just like, what? How? Like, how could that should hurt your theology, if anything, because it would become painfully apparent, I would hope, that you're just making shit up and then deciding that your interpretation of this cryptic book is objective or whatever, you know? Let me see what this part is, though. Oh, here we go.
Well, let me rephrase that. Like, what prevents someone understanding somebody else's argument? What do you think the reasons are for that?
What prevents someone from understanding someone else's argument? You don't think there needs to be some kind of context or something? Like, just answer for all the arguments. Like, what is it that keeps people from not understanding all arguments? What?
I think there's two big reasons in culture today. Number one is emotionalism. We are so controlled by our emotions in society today that most people don't have any recognition of it. And so they see something and it triggers an emotion. And science has shown, brain study shows that the more emotional we are, the less logical we're able to be in that moment, right? And so,
Hey, Forge Thought, how we doing? So what the fuck, how are you live? I received no memo. Shenanigans. Just shenanigans is just the word you throw out. Shenanigans. That's what that is. Shenanigans. Okay. I don't know. YouTube is I don't know. I think that there's been something up about that type of stuff lately too, because I feel like there hasn't been as many, but I feel like maybe I forgot to like update it in the Discord. I did forget that too, and I always forget to like post it on Facebook and all that stuff. So I don't know. And so if YouTube isn't alerting people, nobody knows. Like, dude, so I might have to look into that.
it kind of has to come back into balance a little bit. So if somebody, and this is one of the ones that we're going to talk about, if somebody can get you emotional, it is very easy for your logical and critical thinking to go offline. And now you're all just wrapped up in your emotion. And people who are emotional are very easy to control. And so this is a huge one because it's very difficult.
How we use that, and again, so this kind of plays into, this is funny because like this plays into the whole like douchebag right wing debate me bro mentality that like as long as you can get somebody to be emotional, then you've won, because you can't be emotional and correct. You can only be emotional and wrong. So they win. So as long as they can just piss you off and say, really shitty stuff or whatever, just make the most disgusting claims ever or make the most disgusting arguments. And if you get upset, well, then they win. And that means you're wrong.
To think well. Most people don't have that skill or the ability, or
Yeah, Christians are never emotional. That's, they are just solid, just completely emotional. They don't break down crying at the drop of a hat or anything.
Weren't taught to step back and say, okay, well, that made me a little angry, but let me ask some questions and start going down the road of asking some questions. The other thing is relativism. We are living in the age of relativism. And so when we believe that anything that I want to be true, therefore must be true, well, that totally erases the need or the
religion that you believe, right? That can
is to ask questions. Why should I ask questions if it's just a given that whatever you say must be true because that's your truth?
But that's faith, man. That's literally what faith is. It's you just deciding that what you'd like to think is true is true. And I know what they're referring to because it's always only one thing. And I guarantee it's gender. They're just,
there are no questions allowed with that. And so that is one of the problems with the whole relativist. It's a fallacy, the relativistic fallacy, to say that I want it to be true, so therefore it is true. Well, no, not necessarily. Right?
Is that
I
even
might
a
want
fallacy?
to have a swimming pool in my bedroom, but that doesn't mean there's a swimming pool in my bedroom. So
what? I mean, that's a desire bias. I don't know if I would call that's not a fallacy. What is she talking about? Like there's a I just want it to be true fallacy.
Just because you believe something or want it to be true doesn't mean it's true. But if I think that everything is because somebody thinks it is, why should I question it?
What?
So we've got these weird
That was the most nonsensical way to say that.
societal things that are going on. Some of it's just kind of our brains, and some of it is society. I think that keeps us from asking those questions.
Yeah, the tribalism is pretty big, and we see this in religious groups too.
Oh, really? You see? Oh, that's nice. That's nice that you at least acknowledge that, since, they're kind of the fucking kings of that shit.
Okay, yeah. So, all right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to the point, like, if you have one person making videos that they are probably quite proud of, and then you got some other asshole saying that the videos that they made with AI are terrible because actually Eve was next to Adam when she was talking to the snake. I mean, come on, you stupid with your video. Get the hell out of here.
My group thinks this, my group believes that, and so therefore it must be right. And we see this, it happens in religious groups, in political groups.
Your whole thing is oh my God, it's like their whole thing is like their denomination of or their subjective interpretation of their doctrine, of their denomination, of their religion. And all of those things are them just deciding that what they'd like to think is true is actually true. There is no like investigation into like what is more reasonable to believe at all. It's just what I'd like to think. That's it.
It can happen in ideological groups that, well, I'm part of this group and this is what we think and what we believe. Okay, well, but is it right? That doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's true. And
I agree. Yeah, you kind of need to be able to demonstrate that what you believe is true. Okay, now do that for your God.
And here's the big thing. I heard an argument once, and then we can get back onto the fallacies here. I heard somebody say one time that you should always go into a conversation or an argument willing to be convinced.
Yeah.
And it made me stop and think. At first,
I said, I'm going to yell at and I'm going to yell at and punch a piece of paper, then send it to someone about this. Is the paper going to just turn into a shape of a fist and somebody like a Harry Potter scene or something?
I didn't like this. I was like, there's things that I'm not willing to be convinced about. There's things that I believe to be true, and I'm not willing to be convinced. Like, what? Like, I'm going to go into a conversation with somebody of a totally different religion and be like, oh, yes, this could be true. Tell me, right? And here's where it brought me back to. He said, look, here's the thing. Whenever there's a question and you're...
Wait, what? Hold on. I'm sorry. She's saying, I'm going to go up to somebody that believes a completely different religion and go, maybe what you think is true. That's it. And she's like, really? You're going to do...
There's things that I'm not willing to be convinced about. There's things that I believe to be true, and I'm not willing to be convinced. Like, what? Like, I'm going to go into a...
There's things that I believe... Hold on. Maybe I'm missing context. There's things that I believe, but I'm not willing to believe it's true. Is that what you just said?
I didn't like this. I was like, there's things that I'm not willing to be... a conversation or an argument willing to be convinced.
Yeah.
And it made me stop and think. At first, I didn't like this. I was like, there's things that I'm not willing to be convinced about. There's things that I believe to be true. And
Gotcha. Yeah, so she's saying you got to be willing to be convinced of things.
I'm not willing to be
Okay.
convinced. Like, what? Like, I'm going to go into a conversation with somebody of a totally different religion and be like, oh, yes, this could be true. Tell me, right? And here's where it brought me back to. He said, look, here's the thing. Whenever there's a question and you're questioning truth, never be afraid to press in. Because when you can understand that the goal of pressing in, and those of you who, if you're just listening, you're not seeing, I'm pushing my fingers together, coming back and forth. The whole goal is to buckle toward truth. And that's the thing. There's a lot of people, atheists out there, love critical thinking because they've taken God out of the picture and they kind of worship their mind and they worship their brain, but they don't have...
No, we don't. Nope. God, it's so sad that you think that. Like, if you don't worship God, you worship your own brain. Okay, well then you worship your own brain too, because what, you're using it to come to conclusions about stuff? That means you worship your brain, huh? Jesus Christ. Like, we're not doing anything any different than like any normal person would to think about stuff. Yet that's worshiping our brain. God damn. See what they have to do?
The goal of buckling toward truth. Whereas Christians, that should be our goal. So what I
Wow,
came
what
to
is
realize,
the buckle thing? What do you mean buckled towards truth? Like, okay, I'm buckling. I guess it's true because I buckled towards truth being a truth. Fucking what?
is I should never be willing or unwilling or be afraid to question and dig in for truth, because if what I really believe is true, I'll come right back there again.
Yeah.
And if it's not, don't I want to know? Right? Don't I want to know whether that really is or not? And so that was just one of those.
If it really is true, then I'm gonna come back there again. Like, what is? Okay, I mean, I don't know what she meant by that. I'm gonna come back there again. I think she's saying, if it does end up being true, well, then I'll figure it out, and then I'll be back believing it anyway because I figured out that it was true after questioning it or whatever. I guess is that what she's saying? I think. Anyway,
Mind
yeah.
blow
I mean, that's true.
moments that we should not ever be afraid to.
Cat attack. How we doing? What's going on? It said, all hail our own brain. Come to the altar of my brain. Yeah. It's like, oh brain, I lift your name on high. Oh brain, I love to sing your praise. God, I love you, brain. You're so amazing. You brain from brain to brain to show me the way.
Okay, what do I believe on this? Why? Well, you
Gonna get a copyright strike for that.
tell me what you think. Let's have a conversation with the whole goal being to go toward truth.
Yes, very well said. That all buckles together and links together beautifully.
Quit saying buckle. I've had it.
Love it. All right. Now, I have a feeling we'll go over that more. Like the appeal to emotion is coming up. We'll get there. But there are more that we're going to go over.
Yeah.
The next one is the false dilemma or false dichotomy. What is this?
Okay, so a false dilemma, you've heard it, false dichotomy. It's even called the either or fallacy. So there's a lot of different names that this one goes by. But this happens when someone makes it seem like we have to choose between two things and two things only. But what it's actually doing is setting up a false dilemma between these two choices. And what it does is it usually makes one of them seem so absurd. Or
I mean, Giselle, your brain is pretty great. I'm going to be honest. It looks good. You know, it seems to fire on all cylinders. Do brains have cylinders? Kevin doesn't know if they have cylinders either. I don't. Anyway.
So unthinkable that we're forced to choose the other one. So it's an oversimplification. It oversimplifies the subject by reducing it to only two sides or two choices. So let me give you a few examples. If you don't support gun control, you automatically support school shootings. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know she was going to go that direction, but okay.
Is that really true? Are those the only two choices in this argument? What about the hunters? What about
how do you support school shooting? What the fuck? How do you say something that's stupid? Like what does that even mean? If you support school shooting, really? What the hell? Like who's out there? We want more school shootings. Wait, that making their signs. Hey kiddo, put up your sign that shows a school shooting is with thumbs up next to it. Look what the fuck.
Right. There's a whole lot of other places that somebody could land in this. Little kids do this. If you don't go through the McDonald's drive-thru, I'm going to die from hunger.
Yeah, I've seen your brain. It was at the symposium. Remember? You took it out and it was
okay. Are those really the only two choices here? McDonald's or death from hunger? How about the crock pot of food I have cooking at home, or the granola bar from the bottom of my purse? Right? There's a lot of different options. Here. This is one.
These are terrible examples of this fallacy, man. Like, what are you doing?
One of the things that we see in the critical race theory, where it's broken down into two groups of people. You are the victim.
I know. She went. Yeah, like I said, she went for defending guns before defending the kids. Yep.
Or you are the abuser.
Which is like their whole thing, because they just, that's why they say it's so weird. It's like if you support, allowing military grade weapons just willy-nilly on the street everywhere, then you support school shooting. Which is like, why would you say it that way? Because you kind of do. I mean, you don't support school shootings, but the school shootings definitely don't, make a difference to you as far as whether or not those kinds of weapons should be legal and easy to obtain on the street, right? And it's so funny because like their argument is always, but if we take, if we ban the guns or whatever, then you're only, then you're taking the guns away from the good guys, right? Which is such an obvious argument, like obviously created by the gun manufacturers. You know what I mean? They're like, more guns is better for gun violence. If you have a gun, you can stop the gun violence with the gun. It's like, are you fucking insane? What are you talking about? Or it's like, yeah, you shoot the gun violencer with the gun. It's like, then you're the gun violencer. I don't think you know what gun violence means because you're not using the word. Anyway, God damn it.
Yes, right. It is, and it's a false dichotomy. That is not true representation of society where people are in one of these two.
Blaster Master. What's up, dude? How we doing?
One of these two categories. So,
and Mighty Felbert. How we doing? What's going on, dude?
It's a really interesting way of framing an argument by making it seem like there's only two choices. And this one choice is so horrible that you clearly should go with this other one. When really, no, there's probably a whole spectrum of different ways that we could look at this.
Yeah.
Right, like gender, like with gender. Oh no.
That's very well said. Very good. Okay. The next one, I might have a follow-up question on this one.
It's fine.
Because it's hard to tell right away if that's what's happening. But the slippery slope fallacy, go ahead and tell us about this one.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto about that. Well, they're pointing out illogical arguments. They're just not realizing which arguments are the illogical ones. That is kind of the problem here.
Yeah. So the slippery slope.
So funny when like right wingers, the slippery slope fallacy. Okay, good. I wonder if they're going to get this one right.
Fallacy says if we take this first step down a certain path, there's nothing that's going to stop us from taking all the next steps as well. And it's saying if we
and it's like, who uses the slippery slope fallacy more than right wingers? I feel like nobody. It's nobody.
allow this one thing
And incorrectly too, by the way.
to happen,
Like,
it's going to set off a chain reaction that will end in catastrophe. And so it's a way of kind of catastrophizing a certain outcome that they're sure this outcome is going to happen if we do this next one step. So let me give kind of a silly, simple example that kind of helps it make sense. So textbooks are made from paper. Paper is made from trees, and we need trees for oxygen. So therefore, school is killing us. Right? Okay. So it's a silly one. It's a silly one, but you
It's not a silly one. It's not a slip. How is that a slippery slope, dude? Like, wow, Jesus Christ. Because, like, what? Well, you would have to. I feel like I kind of see where she was going, but you have to be like, if we teach kids, then, like, if we use books to teach, like, at school, then we're eventually just gonna unalive ourselves because, we have oxygen, or we need oxygen to breathe, and the trees produce that. So but like, she didn't do any of that. She just skipped the whole thing, it seems.
to see
Hold on,
trees,
let me hear it
and
one
we
more
need
time.
trees for one step. So let me give kind of a silly, simple example that kind of helps it make sense. So textbooks are made from paper. Paper is made from trees, and we need trees for oxygen. So therefore, school is killing us.
That is so not the slippery slope at all, dude. Like, not even with your silly even with your silly breakdown of it, that is not the slippery slope. You didn't even format it right. Like,
Right.
jeez.
Okay. So it's a silly one. It's a silly one, but you can kind of see, okay, because textbooks make paper, and if we kill all the trees, we're going to use all the trees, and school's killing us. So you could kind
You didn't even
of see how this
Wow.
can go. So it's basically saying if we let this one thing happen, catastrophe is going to ensue. So therefore, we should not let this one thing happen. Or we really have to slow it down and say, okay,
Oh my God. It's like a slippery slope fallacy is when You say that things are going to cause a domino effect, that are going to lead to some type of irreparable harm or something, without any demonstration that it would actually lead to those things. You're just assuming that something would lead to the worst possible outcomes without any evidence that that is the case or whatever. But that's not even what she's saying. It seems like she's not. So I don't think she understands these fallacies. Actually, I think she has like a very simple understanding of this stuff.
Is that really the only inevitable outcome? Right? Is this the only inevitable outcome? If my son doesn't go to college, he's going to wind up living in my basement by the time he's 40 years old. Okay. Maybe.
Okay, that was better. That was better. That was a better slippery slope fallacy. Although I've heard people, actually make that case, specifically right-winger parents that don't want their kids to be staying home.
Maybe not. Maybe your son actually wants to go to a trade school. Maybe your son wants to start a business. Like doesn't mean he either goes to college right out of high school or he winds up living in your basement by the time he's 40. So there's a lot of different things that can happen on a journey rather than just one terrible outcome.
That was better. That was a better. I got it. Credit's due. She finally got around to making to explaining what the actual fallacy is.
Okay, yeah. So this one, I actually have some follow-up.
Because slippery slope, it can actually be accurate given the context. It depends what it is. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think what is a good example. I would say fascism. Once you start giving fascism an inch, it's a slippery slope before you end up into full-blown fascism, where they're, taking over fucking cities and stuff with military people, whatever, in cities that didn't have any high crime to begin with, whatever. Anyway, but so there are slippery slopes when it's not a fallacy. You just be like, no, this is just clearly going to lead to this, that, and the other thing if we do X thing, like Citizens United ruling, that was a slippery slope that led to where we are now, where billionaires are doing everything they can to just get everything they want while everybody else suffers.
Questions on, because sometimes we can see a decision being made and we're like, oh, that's a bad idea.
Yep.
And then they give reasons.
Blaster's like, why isn't she using real life examples? I don't know. Real life stuff's too hard to understand. No, I'll tell you why she's not using real life examples, because she would be on the opposite side of whatever the real life example would be. So she's not using that. She has to use made up ones.
Reasons why. How do we know? Actually, let me give you an example. I remember when gay marriage was being legalized. So I remember thinking at that point, why are they making the argument that this will happen if this happens? Hey, if we legalize marriage, there's going to be no distinction between what it means to be married to a man and a woman, why this is good for society. To me, it's just their argument fell flat.
Well, what do you mean? There's no distinction between if you're married to a man or a woman. Who cares? There isn't any distinction. It's still a legal, it's a legal thing, man.
Now, okay, fast forward.
Here we are.
Okay, fast forward to here we are today. Where? And all of a sudden, nobody wants to define what a woman is. The LGBTQ keeps growing, right? It's
what keeps what the letters.
There has been a lot of moral and ethical things that have happened because of this domino effect, right? And
first of all, oh my God, they're so fucking stupid. They think that gay marriage, legalizing gay marriage, made trans people. It didn't. They were already there. Okay, they just were kind of not really able to be themselves very publicly without being, terrorized, which is kind of not very different than now. But but it didn't make trans people. What the hell?
Right now I'm generalizing, okay? But I'm saying that looking back now,
Yeah, you're doing more than generalizing. You're like misremembering, it seems.
those arguments they made looking forward weren't wrong. Like there were a lot of reasons why they had an issue with that I now see, but it took like
How was it the gay marriage part that led to that? That's what you did. This is literally the fallacy. You're literally doing the goddamn fallacy right now. The slippery slope fallacy. You're saying if we allow gay marriage, then what's next? What's next? Oh, they're gonna marry a refrigerator. Like you hear shit like that. And then now, oh man, now we got people identifying as if show fuck yourself. No, we didn't. The people, trans people existed long before gay marriage was a thing. The fucking Stonewall riots were like basically organized by trans people. Holy shit.
10 plus
Watch a fucking documentary, you idiots.
years for it to happen. And everybody kept saying, and I didn't recognize the word, this is a slippery slope fallacy. You can't say that, you know, for the reasons that you gave forth is this one little thing. You guys are exaggerating. You are making a big deal out of nothing. You're being bigots. You're being closed-minded. That's just one example. We could do this with a lot of different things, but what is the difference between making an educated, oh, this is a bad idea, here's why, versus an actual slippery slope fallacy? It's almost like you need time to go by to tell whether you committed it.
Yeah.
No, it was not a slippery slope, dude. Like you're just you need to like explain what about gay people being allowed to get married. Wow, they're so stupid. Like was like what caused trans people to exist or whatever, or all the other, all the other letters of the LGBTQ thing that you don't understand that were actually there before. We just didn't, exactly have like specific names for it and everything. That did not cause this stuff. It's not this. This is a perfect example of the actual fallacy. Now you're demonstrating the actual, like what the actual fallacy and like how it works.
And sometimes you do, right? Because what is
God,
the
they're
difference
stupid.
between a slippery slope and just consequences?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I mean, the kid who doesn't go to college could wind up living in the basement when he's 40. But does that mean it's a direct cause of that thing? So what you have to do is you have to go back and you have to look at, okay, what are the principles behind this? Okay, so with the example that you gave, are there principles behind this, right, that you could look at from the beginning that are guiding this decision that could inform us as to where this could go? Also, do we have anywhere in history that we could look back on and see what has happened before?
Yeah.
And for both of those, the answer is yes. So there are things that we could look back to and say, okay, well, we've done this before. Or there's a principle here before.
Principle? What do you mean by principle? Like how is there like what? Like, how does that factor in to the logic at all? Like, I don't know what she means by principle.
Where we can see where this has gone. And that's the way to do it, because, and some of these get tricky. And this is why it's so hard, is because anybody can make something sound like, yes, this is true. And yes, this is real. And yes, this is happening. And we have to slow it down. And in this instance, we would have to say, okay, are there actual consequences that could come from this? Is there a precedent? Has this happened before? Is there a principle at play that we need to pay attention to? Scripture is clear about our decisions have consequences. We know this. Does that mean it's a slippery slope fallacy? No, not necessarily. But if we come up with something where there is no basis for it and we're just in conjecture, and we're just trying to make somebody feel afraid because we don't want them to do this one thing.
But it also works after the fact, like what you're doing now. It's still a fallacy, dude. Like, because you're just misunderstanding like the causal link, because there was no causal link between gay marriage being legal and trans people existing.
Then that's where you have to stop and say, okay, there could be a fallacy happening here.
Very good. Yeah, I want Christians to kind of be aware of that, because you're going to be accused sometimes. Like, Melissa, that's a slippery slope fallacy. How? here's this reason, this reason, that reason, this reason, right?
Oh yeah. See, Ember said they said gay marriage will cause everyone to divorce. Marriage will mean nothing. People will be marrying their pets. That was a slippery slope. Did that come true? No. That exactly. That none of that stuff happened. Exactly. Yeah. That is too funny. Last year was what was I gonna say? Oh. Grand Theft Auto Bus said, I love my Iceboxer 5000. Is that a dog or an ice maker in your refrigerator? I don't know what that is. To be honest. I said divorce. Grand Theft Auto Bus said, wait. Divorce have been a thing for a long time. Tacit admission. Trans people have been around a long ass time, if that's what they're saying. I mean, I honestly do think they're saying there's more like trans people are here and like not hiding now because we made gay marriage legal, which that's not true. Trans people had existed long before. I mean, they've existed for second as long, if it's long as fucking humans have existed. Like there was trans people in like history and stuff. Like it was like what I mean, as far back as I mean, I don't know specifically, but like I know that what was it, King Louis the 13th, like brother or the sister, I guess, right? Was she transitioned, right? I only know that because of that show. That was and Versailles. Anyway, but they've been around for fucking ever, you know, as long as humans, as far as I can tell.
Knowing how to argue well against even being accused of committing one of these fallacies is important.
Yeah,
good.
Just because somebody says you're committing a fallacy doesn't mean you're committing a fallacy.
And you have to know why you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's actually the best. And then Bob said trans people were always around. Once they lost gay marriage, they turned their focus on trans people. Right. That is, and really, they can create their slippery slopes, right? Because they decide as a political entity on the right wing what they're going to go after next, right? And the gay marriage thing freaked them all out at first because they're like, hold on, whoa, marriage is ours. We own that. Okay. That's a Christian institution that God invented. So, you know, when he made the guy out of dirt and the woman out of his rib and shit. Okay. And then he was like, hey, now you got to make her a ring out of a plant or something, probably. I don't know. And that I don't know. Anyway,
maybe you are, maybe you aren't, right? And yeah, it is why it takes work. This is one of the other things why people won't do this is it takes work. Like we're just intellectually lazy. We're used to having everything just fed to us. We don't even have to think anymore. We can just Google.
Yeah, I love it. Misinterpretation said my favorite line is scripture is clear. Nope, not a thing. That's not a thing that ever happens anytime, anywhere at all, ever, because scripture is absolutely as unclear as humanly fucking possible.
Something and look it up. We don't have to remember anybody's phone number. So it takes work. Intellectually lazy.
I'm sorry. I keep on getting.
We're used to having everything just fed to us. We don't even have to think anymore. We can just Google something and look it up. We don't have to remember anybody's phone number. So it takes work.
Okay, boomer. All right, can you relax? Remembering phone numbers wasn't a positive, okay? Until you lose your phone. And then you're like, holy shit, this is a problem.
Work to stop and think and to ask these, okay, what's the difference between a slippery slope fallacy and natural
Tighten your anus, how's it going? What's up? How you doing? It's good to see you.
Consequences. Well, oh my goodness, that's a conversation right there. And it's a good one. So yeah, it takes work.
All right. Now the next one on our list, I've been accused of this fallacy, and I want you to tell us what it is and break it down.
It's possible that you've committed the fallacy. You have just been accused, but we'll see.
It
depends who you're talking to. If you're talking to other Christians, it's it's a toss.
It's the no true Scotsman fallacy. Go ahead and tell us what this is.
Yeah, this is a fun one, and I can't wait to
says it's so funny. The no true Scotsman fallacy. I don't understand this. Why would it be worded that way?
For your example of what you've been accused of this is. But I'll tell you where it comes.
It's the no true Christian fallacy because that's the only time it's used. I mean, for real, we don't really argue about who's a true Scotsman or not anymore. I mean, maybe they do in Scotland. I don't know. But that's not what we argue about here. But we do use, we do talk about Christians in that regard, though, a lot.
From because knowing the name kind of helps to understand it. So the no true Scotsman's fallacy goes like this. Well, no true Scotsman would ever drink milk in their tea. Well, I'm a Scotsman. I drink milk in my tea. Well, then you're not a real Scotsman. Okay. So we had a really good example.
The milk and the tea, that's what do Scotsmen don't even drink tea. Okay. They drink whiskey. Okay. That's what, right? Or is that the Irish? Yeah, I always mix up Irish and Scottish.
Of this, I think it was back in the 2020 election where
I am Scottish, so I'm allowed to make that joke. Okay. You know, I don't want any Irish men in the audience going, "Oi, Bentley, I'm offended."
President Biden infamously
That was terrible. I'm sorry. Can we cut that? Yeah, let's cut that. That was a terrible impression. I don't even know. I gotta work on my Irish and Scottish impressions. Those are just both really bad. Just cut that whole section. Actually. Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Okay, well, that's a no true Scotsman because he's saying you're not a real black person, whatever that's supposed to mean, if you don't vote for me, if you don't do this one thing. That's a fallacy.
Perfect example. That was great. That was great. Now do one for Trump. I feel like Trump's got more fallacies under his belt.
So I'd love to hear, how have you heard this?
That was a really stupid, fucked up thing that Biden said too, by the way. I've had arguments about people like, that's not right. Like this one person was trying to tell me that what he said there wasn't racist. And get this, because he was the vice president to a black man. So that made that not count. But of course, you know, this was during voting times, whatever you got. It was in election season. So, you know, everybody gets fucking wackadoo and can't call a spade when it's election season, because then they were like, oh, you're encouraging people not to vote for him. And I'm like, hell no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying what he said right there was fucked. I don't give a shit. You know, I'm still going to vote for him because of course I am. You know, do you see what he's up against? Holy shit. But if you say something fucked up, it's still fucked up. I don't care if you're running against a psychopath. You still said a fucked up thing. Like, my God.
But how somebody use this on you?
All right. So you guys, maybe you've watched a few of my videos where I lovingly use.
Blaster said, true Scotsman drinks scotch. Duh. That's funny because I actually do like scotch a lot. Although now it's brandy because, well, I think I got old and it's, you know, brandy's easier on my tummy. Yeah, I say tummy. Okay, get out of my face about it. Okay,
the vegan, right?
Judging me about the way the words I use
to explain what a vegan is, or Christianity versus, you know, people say that they're Christian. So it's like, oh, I'm a vegan who loves meat. Well, I'm a Christian who, you know, denies the Trinity kind of thing, right? And so it's somebody who calls themselves a Christian.
Yeah, but okay, but I mean, there's a very clear set of criteria that makes a vegan, dude. It's not the same thing, okay? Because now you're saying, oh, that denies the Trinity. That's not a fundamental Christian thing. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't necessarily, people don't have to believe in the Trinity. It's not even in the fucking Bible, dude. It's just, so you could absolutely not believe in the Trinity and still be a Christian.
Right? They have that name, but they don't adhere to biblical historic Christian doctrine. And so my argument is, well,
biblical historic Christian doctrine. What the hell does that mean? Which one? You're acting like there's only one.
Then why are you calling yourself a Christian? It's like, this is my argument to progressives. Yeah. I'm like, why even keep the name at all? I mean, they're trying to progress Christianity, of course. They're trying to improve upon it.
Hey, AJ, how you doing? What's going on? AJ said, yo, Bradley, you should be proud of yourself. I chose to be here rather than watching Matt Dillahunty and Godless Engineer on the line. Oh, shit, they're on the line right now? Fuck, I knew I should have picked a different time. I don't like overshadowing because I totally am. I'm overshadowing them, you know, just pulling all their viewers away. That's what it is.
But then it's not Christianity. And I remember somebody saying, well, that's the no true Scotsman fallacy. And I'm like, you're an atheist, aren't you? Well, I'm an atheist who worships Jesus. Well, that's not true atheism, right? Well, that's a no true Scotsman fallacy.
No, I mean, because couldn't you still technically worship Jesus and not believe in a God? I don't know if I would say that's not true atheist, because that just sounds way. I'd say you're a fucking stupid atheist. That's what I would say. I'd say you're just an idiot. But doing this true thing, because see, that's what they're not understanding, is that most people don't grab a hold of a label and go, this is mine. I decide what makes somebody this, but Christians do. Atheists don't do that. We're just going to tell you you're stupid, or that you're wrong, or that I disagree. We're not going to say that, oh no, I hold the patent for what a true atheist is like. And so, if you're not an atheist that thinks X, Y, and Z, then you're not a true atheist. We wouldn't do that because it's illogical and just stupid.
You can't do that, and so that's where it comes from, because I'm making the argument that there is a solid definition to what makes a Christian, not from my own interpretation. I'm not the one coming up with this.
I'm basically stream sniping, like snake in a wave. Yeah, that's like, and if you don't know what snake in a wave is, well, don't ever do it, okay? Because you will, okay? Surfers seem really cool and chill and stuff, and they're like, yeah, bro, whatever. Do you snake a wave and see how that yeah, bro, turns into you fuck up, we'll kill you, and just gets beat up, and everybody sits back and goes, yeah, bro, you shouldn't have snaked his bro. He snaked the bro's wave, bro. And basically what that means is when a wave is coming in, if somebody is in that vicinity, right, and the wave starts to form, and it's very clear that they're waiting to get in that wave, and then you come just swooping in out of the side and just jump right in front of them with their wave that they waited for, that they clearly had dibs on, you don't do that, okay? You will get your ass kicked and called dude and broski very angrily while you get your ass kicked.
But from the scriptures, these scriptures that define what Christianity is. And so I would actually love to get your comments on this, because people will be like, oh, well, people interpret the Bible differently, and you have all these different denominations. And I'm like, yeah, and a lot of them either add to the Bible, or they have a prophet who says, that's wrong, God told me something else. That eliminates.
Okay, that's one. That's one. You're just talking about Joseph Smith. Come on, man. That's one group, and you're like, it's either this or that is what they're doing. No, you have your very subjective interpretation of Christianity, and so does everybody else, because it's personal beliefs about a holy text, man. Like it. This is why it's a fallacy. This is why we use it for that, because it's like you're taking something that is so personal to each individual and saying that your personal interpretation is more valid than everybody else's. And what most of us are saying is they're all equally not valid, really. I mean, Christians wouldn't say that, but normal people would. But that's why it's a fallacy.
So many of these different denominations from being a part of what the scriptures say. So let me know your commentary on that. What do you think?
You're interpreting the scriptures the way that you think
about that.
Yeah. So I would say that they're getting more into equivocation. We haven't talked about equivocation yet.
That's one of the next ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll just start it now.
It's funny. I almost knew she was going to go with that. Oh no, they're changing definite. No, it's not. That's not how equivocation works, but okay.
Because this will come into this part of the conversation. So equivocation happens when somebody changes the definition or the meaning of a word.
Yes.
In the middle of a conversation or
argument. No, specifically in the middle of an argument. If you're going to be accurate about this, equivocation is where you change definitions of a word midway through an argument to serve your argument. and you're like swapping out definitions within it. Like it has to be from like premise to premise almost, because that's that it's we're talking about arguments here, argumentation and stuff, and what is a fallacy. So I mean, yeah, I always use it like colloquially to just mean like people are changing definitions to serve their argument. But like that's if we're going to be technical, that's not actually an equivocation.
To make an argument or something like that. So, for instance, if somebody says, "Oh, I can be a Christian and deny that a God exists," okay, well, that's no, you can't. And it's not saying a no true Scotsman, because that is the definition of a Christian, unless somebody's trying to just change the definition. Oh, no, I want a Christian to mean anybody who has ever set foot in a church before.
But it's just, but I mean, this really depends on what the criteria is, isn't it? Because she was just saying you have to believe in the Trinity. Do you have to believe in the rapture too? Because that's not in the Bible either. And so somebody might not believe in that rapture. Like, this is the problem. It's where you start making your the criteria of what you think it should be, because Christian is such a broad thing.
Okay, well, that's a different thing, right? That means something very different than what Christianity means. So I would say this is sometimes where you have to go back to a definition and realize we have a very different definitional understanding of what this word actually means. Because there are some times when a thing is what it is. Like if I say I have a tree out here and you say, no, my car is a tree. And I say, well, no, real trees don't have four wheels and a steering wheel. Well, that's a no true Scotsman fallacy. No, it's not. You've changed the definition of a tree, right?
Exactly.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So you've got to be able to recognize what the thinking is.
It's not the same thing as a Christian. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, a Christian is somebody who identifies as a Christian. I know that feels like not what you want, but at the end of the day, that is what it is. I mean, I guess you could say that somebody, if they define Christian so crazy, where they're like, oh no, I'm a Christian, but I'm a Christian atheist or something like that, where they're like, oh, they could even technically do that, because you'd be like, oh no, I just culturally am a Christian, but I don't believe in a God and stuff. So even then, you could still say they're a Christian. You know what I mean? So like, dude, it just doesn't work with labels like that. It's not like the same, like label, the label Christian is not the same kind of label as tree and car. Like, those are very different.
And why they're saying it, and realize that's actually not what that is at all.
Yes, so well. See how these all kind of come together?
But what it's more like is like if you say, oh, I only define trees as oak trees, and so those pine trees, they're too skinny. They're too skinny. They don't even have leaves. They got these needle things. It doesn't, they get all over everything. That's not a tree. It's basically just a big straight vine, really, with the needle crap that comes out. I hate those needle things.
Yeah, there was something else you said too with the I make this argument. There's so many I could go here. But like, for example, Christ in New Thought, they have a different definition.
Emerson, it's a bit worse. It's when you rely on the ambiguity of a term to claim multiple meanings at the same time. Oh, okay. Is that ever accurate? Oh, okay. I thought you. Yeah, I mean, and I could see that. I thought that you had to be going back and forth. Like, it's like when. No, I guess you're right. That is true, because I always use the example of faith. When people say faith, and then they look up and they're like, no, look, faith just means like having trust in or whatever, or confidence in. It's like, that's not what you mean by faith. Come on, dude. And it's like, because they bounce back and forth between the like, I have like faith in like my light switch working or whatever, to I have faith in Jesus Christ, that in other words, I've decided that I'm absolutely correct about my belief that, a dude was crucified, came back to life, flew away into the clouds, and is going to come back after 2,000 years with a sword tongue and fire eyes and bronze skin, probably get locked up by ice, the bronze skin thing, I feel like that's going to get him taken out. But Yeah, no, that's not the same thing. That's just deciding that you are correct, irrespective of the evidence. The belief or the definition that includes confidence is just I have confidence in a thing, but that's not what anybody means with it. And if you look at the definitions of faith, like if you look it up, if you Google faith definition, it's just below it. It's like, yeah, confidence in a claim or whatever, or confidence in something, whatever. But the very next one is like having a degree of belief in a deity without any evidence, or irrespective of whether or not there is evidence. So that's what we mean by faith. But they they try to act like faith and trust are the same shit.
And then what the Bible says, they're equivocating. So you might find yourself agreeing with them and not realizing it. And I remember Sandra Tanner, she's a former Mormon, and her whole ministry is, reaching Mormons and teaching.
Hell yeah, I can't wait. Okay, yeah, everybody check out the Ember and Misinterpretations. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna check it out. I was on Facebook and I saw Misinterpretations. It's like a poster or something for you. I can't remember. Are you speaking somewhere or something? Anyway, I can't. It's hard for me to remember. I remember going, "Oh, it's Misinterpretation. You were in my. She was in my life chat one time." But like, I can't remember what the context was. But damn it, now I can't. Were you on a call-in show recently? Anyway, you know what? We'll have to talk about it later, maybe.
Christians, like what they believe. And I remember she said, if you ever find yourself agreeing Christian with a Mormon, then somebody hasn't defined their terms. And so, yeah,
You're a Mormon, though. Like, there's a word for that. Mormon. Mormon is not Christian. I mean, it is, but like, not really. It's like a subcategory of Christian. It's like a very specific type of Christian. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a shitload of subcategories of Christian. I mean, that one is different than I would say most of the others, but there's a bunch of subcategories like Baptists and what do you call those people that are like all charismatics? They're all shouting at each other and hitting each other in the head while they fall over and convulse and pretend to have demons flying out of their face and everything. Like that's very different than whatever this lady I think thinks you're supposed to do at church. Does that make them not Christians?
A lot there. And just remember, I think that I would have been guilty of the no true Scotsman fallacy. And I think Christians are guilty on some level of this because their list is so long.
Anarchic Fox, what's going on, dude? How you doing? It's good to see you. So Jesus is blue with white eyes. He's an avatar. He's an avatar. Dude, he's real big. Wow, that's terrifying. He's Mystique. That's what it is. Or Beast. A lot of blue people in X-Men. What's up with that? It's kind of strange, right? Why is everybody fucking blue? Nightcrawler, another blue one. Why is everybody blue? I don't know. There's not a whole lot of yellow people. Where are the yellow people at? None. A lot of blue though. The fuck X-Men, So it feels exclusionary to all the other colors, really.
Of what makes a true Christian. Well, a real Christian wouldn't wear pants to church.
Right.
Yeah. A real Christian.
You go to church naked. That's what you got. And if you don't want to wear pants to church, go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley, and maybe take a trip to Cracker Barrel after that. That's what that's always fun too. You should go check that out. They got a new they got their new logo. They got Trump encouraged them to get a new logo, and I think it works. I think it makes the most sense. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley. And here's me as a Texan Trump supporter. What do you think? AI is fucking weird. I don't know if I like it. Anyway, I was having way too much fun earlier.
Wouldn't speak in tongues. A real Christian, this and that and that. I'm like, yep. I mean, you're talking.
That's what it was. Guileless engineer. Okay, I was gonna say, like, I knew I saw you somewhere. I was like, it was on Facebook, and I was just like, I'm not online very often. I'm going to be totally honest. So, yeah, I know it's just like thumbing through my Facebook there, and that's what it was. You were on Godless, or God. I'm sorry, Godless Granny. I saw Godless, and I'm like, oh, you're on Godless Engineer. No, it's Godless Granny. Okay, yeah, because she's on my friends list. That's absolutely what it was.
But no real Christian would vote this
But everybody should check that out too. By the way, just saying.
way. No real Christian would vote that way.
It's
right?
tough,
There's
okay?
all kinds-
Where's the links? Titan, Uranus. You want to get the links for that?
It's tough, okay? We want to make that
Kevin, get Titan. Kevin, get Titan the links for the thing we just said.
list very long, but thank God it's short. Okay, you're talking about the core essentials of the faith, which I have a whole video on, and even that.
See the core essentials of the faith. Like which one? Like what is your interpretation? Like, because we could say, as far as I could tell, the core essentials of the faith, Christianity, would be believing that God exists. That'd be number one. Believing that Jesus exists. I feel like that's a big one. And that, Jesus died for your sins. That's it. I almost feel like in any other way that you swing it, you don't have to believe in the Trinity. You don't have to believe that Jesus is God. You can believe that he's the Son of God. There's plenty of denominations that do that. That's it. You just have to believe God, Jesus died for your sins. That's it. Those are the tenets. As long as you believe those things, you could be a Christian.
short list some people have an issue with. So I was in error for years.
What about Glorio?
Believing in things. You can be in error and be saved. The sanctification
You
process.
got to go to cognitive dissonance. They own the patent on the whole glory hole side of AdamandEve.com. So I try not to step on any toes, but if you just enter code word glory at checkout, if you feel like it, you can put in code word Brentley, but you can also put in code word glory. I got no problem, promoting their code as well.
Process is a thing. But yeah, so just letting you know that we can be guilty of that. But in this case, I think defining it will help us know.
Yeah, the Cracker Barrel, it was amazing.
Well, and again, there's a lot of grace. We all are guilty of it. We all have done this, right? And some of it is because we just have these human brains and it happens and we don't know and we're not taught and we don't recognize it. And this is why I feel like let's learn it. Like this can be fun and it's going to be such a helpful skill as well. So it's not like there's any shame for people that we have done this and we have been like, all of us have done these. My daughter still catches me with making logical fallacies. Like teach your kid this and I promise they're going to.
I'm sure it's funny. She's like, my daughter catches me doing logical fallacies all the time. That's just kind of crazy because aren't you supposed to not do them once you know what they are? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that everybody's got to be perfect all the time or anything, but I guarantee these folks on the right Christian, theists, believing in supernature, all that type of stuff, they're committing fallacies way more frequently, than your average skeptically minded, humanist or whatever.
Call you out. They're going to have great fun in calling you out. And parents, we need to let them because this is them exercising their critical thinking abilities and we want them to do that ultimately.
Amen. Very good. I'm going to mix up the order here. And we're going to go to.
I wanted to understand. Okay, now that we just did equivocation, or are we moving on to a different?
Appeal to emotion. This one's huge. Tell us about the appeal to emotion fallacy.
Yep. So an appeal to emotion is when someone is trying to get you to believe, think, or act in a certain way, but they're doing it just by making you feel a certain way. So typically there's no real substance behind their claim or behind their appeal, or it's not even what they're leading with. They're just trying to make you feel something. So for instance, we saw this during the pandemic when people were called COVID Let me start over. You can add that up.
Sure.
We saw this during the pandemic when people were called grandma killers because they didn't make certain choices, right? Okay, so you're a grandma killer. That's just making somebody feel guilty, making somebody feel afraid. It's not actually making a good argument for why you're advocating for them to take certain actions or not take certain actions. Another huge one that we see is in advertising. Oh my gosh, teach your kids.
Hold on. What? It's so weird that she's like going on like, oh man, it was just an argument from emotion to say that, you know, if we were out there acting like it wasn't a big deal to spread a disease willy-nilly, too, by the way, by not doing these basic little things that you can do to like keep from spreading a disease. Oh, then they call you a grandma killer because that's, you know, which is obviously just an appeal to emotion. It's like, or it's a logical consequence of your behavior. That's just what's going to happen if you spread a disease like that willy-nilly, dipshit. It's not a fucking God damn, these people are awful.
Manipulative advertising because they're gonna marketing is like almost not 100%. There's so much that's an appeal to emotion. They're gonna try to make you feel afraid for missing out. They're gonna appeal to your feeling of wanting to look a certain way. They're gonna appeal to whatever the emotion is. Or you may have seen the dogs that are in the shelters and the arms of the angels is playing in the background,
Okay,
and
hold on.
right,
Trying
send
to think
in.
okay, just trying to like look this up a little bit. Okay, in advertising, it's funny they're just bringing up advertising. A commercial might show a heartwarming story of a struggling family to make viewers feel sympathy, encouraging them to buy the product to help. How's that a fallacy, though? This is kind of ignoring logic. Instead of providing sound reasoning or data to support a claim, the emotional response itself is presented as a reason to agree. Okay. A politician could tell a compelling emotional story about a polluted park to make people feel upset about the environment, motivating them to support a new policy without presenting the scientific data. Okay, I feel like there's a better way to do this. Irrelevance and emotional reaction is not a substitute for valid evidence or logical reasoning. Okay. Yeah.
And $5 a month to help the dog. That's all an appeal. Like everything about that commercial, the music, the tone, the coloring.
That's just what your religion is, man. Like your whole religion is this, like the music, the tone, the if you're whatever you're going through, whatever you're doing is the Lord loves you. He loves you. And we got a solution to the problem that you're going through. And I'll tell you right now, it's Jesus Christ. And he might not make any of your problems go away, but he'll make it better because you'll be better. That's right. Because when you fall in love with Jesus Christ, you don't become sinless, but you do sin less. Oh God, that took me back.
For the sad pictures on the dogs that they show, everything behind that is an appeal to guilt. And so they're trying to get you to act a certain way by making you feel something, not necessarily making the argument. These are ubiquitous.
What was it? Hold on, I missed the example. I was
An
looking
appeal, like
up.
everything about in the
Said
arms
she
of
was
the angels
laughing?
is playing in the background, and right, send in $5 a month to help the dog. That's all an appeal. Like everything about that commercial, the music.
Oh, the SPCA. You're saying the dog, like the. Why is she laughing at the SPCA? Is that the shelter? Is that like an animal shelter? The SPCA?
Music, the tone, the coloring.
Okay.
Really,
Anyway.
my mind that's able to step back and say, okay, what are they actually saying here? Is that actually true? What is the truth, or what's the real argument behind what they're saying? And now you can remove yourself from that, and you don't have to get.
Yeah. Laster said a good example of an appeal to emotion would be, have you ever told a lie? Yeah. Like, so Ray Comfort, he's a human appeal to emotion, huh?
You don't have to get caught up in that. It's very freeing.
Yeah. Oh my, I can't believe I never noticed that fallacy and those.
Yeah, yeah, okay. That's what I thought you were saying. Okay, laughing at the appeal to take care of puppies. Yeah, I mean, geez, like as a like, you know what I mean? Like they're acting like that's not real, like that those puppies aren't actually there. This is all just an appeal to emotion. Yeah, I've had, but there are actually puppies that need your help. What do you want in that fucking metal? You want them to play some metal music. You know, you want some death metal, some guys spinning their hair in the background, like, get some puppies today. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Kinds of commercials. That's such a good point that you brought that up, because I can hear it in the background and the dogs are looking up. And
yes,
yeah, you're exactly right. The marketing there is very interesting. What would you say?
But it's accurate. It's accurate. Puppies are cute. Okay. And they need somebody. All right.
To somebody making the argument that Christians commit this fallacy because we teach about hell, and because we're afraid of going to hell is why we are believing whatever you say, and in that way they are being controlled.
I think sometimes,
I mean, if you're saying to believe because you're afraid, like, oh, hey, you know, you don't want to be tortured for all eternity, okay, then believe my thing. That is an appeal to emotion, I'd say, right? Because they're trying to elicit fear, and they're saying that believe what I'm telling you, it's true, because, you know, you don't want to be burned, do you? Aren't you afraid of being burned by my God that you're not convinced is true? Yet, it does seems odd.
Christians can commit this fallacy 100%.
Mm.
If that is all you're leading with, I have been in situations and circumstances where the reason that you should get saved, accept Jesus as your savior, is so you don't go to hell, because you're going to burn forever. And this works really well. Works.
Yeah. There's a I said I'm willing to bet she's one of those sin of empathy people, you know, feeling just too much compassion for people is just terrible.
With kids, they do a lot with kids, because it's I don't want to go to hell. Okay, whatever. Okay, that might be part of it, but
yeah, that's why I said give her the Christy Noam medal of puppy care.
there's so much more to
Yeah.
salvation and to what is offered than just being afraid. Like making somebody do something because they're afraid. Do they have any real understanding? Like where's the rest of it? So yeah, I do think Christians can absolutely fall into this, and we need to understand what truly
They fall into all of it. You know, I mean, your whole religion is just a big fallacy, dude.
okay, if this is going to be a salvation message, what is the real message?
How do you know that why should anybody believe that they need salvation? And then when they go, oh, because fallacy, 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 fallacy.
Is that the main part of the message, or is that what we need to be like leading with? Where's the rest of it? Is it balanced? Right? There's just a lot to it. And Christians are not exempt from committing this fallacy either.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal answer. It's funny because it leads into another fallacy, because I always thought that question was a hasty generalization, because you're saying all Christians do this. So hasty generalization, that's a fallacy. Tell us what this is.
So a hasty generalization happens when you make an assumption about a group of things or about a group of people that's based on too small of a sample size. So it's when somebody comes to a conclusion about a group of things or a group of people, but doesn't have enough evidence to truly back it up, or doesn't take into account the entire group of people. So it's saying, well, this one group of people, they all act like this because I met this one guy one time and this is what he did. So it's like saying
Everything that the right wing says about trans people, black people, just you name a demographic of people, it's what the right wing says about them.
From the homeschool world, right? I met a homeschooler once and they were so weird. I would never want my kid to turn out weird.
They're fucking weird. Okay. As a homeschooler myself, what, you think I'm like a bastion of normality over here? Like, are you kidding me? Homeschoolers are fucking weird. Like they are. They weren't socialized properly. They're fucking weird.
I'm not going to homeschool them. It's the weird homeschool argument. And I always think, okay, I was in homeschool, and guess what? There were weird kids in my class in school too. So, it's just, but that's the kind of thing that we do.
Yeah, but homeschoolers are always weird. All right, that's the difference.
We tend to
always weird.
categorize people. Well, all of this group are like this, and they all say this, and they all believe it, and or they'll characterize this one group by this one example, and they'll take this one crazy example.
Hey, Gar, how you doing? Said like Adam and Eve,
and say, well, they're all.
And yes, it is exactly like AdamandEve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, free shipping on the whole order. Go to AdamandEve.com. Enter code word Brentley. Or Glory, if you want to support the show that doesn't really need any support because they're already huge and very popular and everything. But, you can support them too, okay? Because, they are still a good show. I'll tell, I think people should support them.
Like this, right? We can do this. We can take one, they'll be called an unhinged liberal yelling, and they'll put this on TV, on a reel, and paint it look like that's all of them.
Yes.
Okay. It's not, nor is the one crazy right-wing person representative of all of them, right? So we have to be very careful. Again, both sides can do this, and okay, maybe that person is a little unhinged, but does that mean everybody? No, it doesn't mean everybody.
Yes, that's a really.
It's so weird hearing these two right-wing Christians talk about fallacies and then saying things that they do constantly. And then are like, but that's a fallacy. And it's like, it's so weird. I wish you could communicate that. But it's like, but I know that they'll sit there and do this with immigrants and shit like that. You know what I mean? So when they say this, it's like, oh, just because they know the fallacy and know how it works and everything, I guarantee they're still not willing to do that actual critical thinking as it applies to their political beliefs. And maybe stop hating immigrants so much or stop assuming that they're all criminals or whatever.
Be good example. I'm glad that you brought that. If people haven't noticed, a lot of this is in politics.
Yes.
Okay. So on the right.
And we fall for this, especially with the division that we see. It's hard to kind of go out of that echo chamber with politics in particular. Because it's like what you just said. It's the anger that comes from that. You take this psychotic version, like the worst version of what the left would look like, and then you put a spotlight on it. This is why humanizing people is very important.
Yeah. Well, that's nice that they're doing this because, she's even saying the left. You take the craziest version, that purple-haired atheist, I don't know, pixie cut, fucking punk rock feminist, whatever.
There's a lot to go on with that. All right, so that's hasty generalization. The next one we're going to go over is confirmation bias. This is another huge one that goes along with appeal to emotion. Tell us about the confirmation bias.
It goes with your appeal to emotion. How? Okay.
Yeah. So again, a bias is just our way of seeing the world, right? It's how we see things. And again, we all tend to have bias. We all do have biases. So the confirmation bias is our brain's tendency to notice, to believe, or to remember information that supports what you already believe or that you already want to be true. And it will pay attention to that, and it'll kind of see that everywhere, where it'll ignore or dismiss anything that disagrees with what you already think or want.
It's so weird hearing them go through this because that is just all of what causes people to believe a God exists.
Want to be true, right? So, and the bad thing and the hard thing about this is that our social media algorithm totally feeds this bias.
Yeah.
Because once your algorithm knows the things you like to see, guess what it does? It shows you more and more and more. And it'll
see, and of course he's got to bring that up immediately because that is such a problem on their side because they want to believe that everybody's just biased, and so it's everybody's just algorithm feed. I remember talking to a guy, and he was like, I was telling him, I'm like, that's not true information. You got to be able to look it up and see. And he's like, well, if I look it up on Google, whatever my algorithm, what you're going to find information that is validated by your algorithm that says that what you think is true is actually what's true. And I was like, no, that's not how it works when it comes to like factual information. There are ways to like get factual information, dude. And it's like called like having like reliable sources and things like that. But see right there, what she said protects them so that they can assume that everybody else is just just caving to confirmation bias or whatever. But they're not, but everybody's just confirming their bias or whatever, even through their algorithms and the information they look up. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. Like there are people that actually want to know if the information they are looking up on the computer is accurate. So, and there are ways to do that. You put in stuff like scholarship, right? And just like citing sources and things like that. Because, you can click on the links that are like sourced or whatever, and you can like look up where those sources come from. And if they go all the way back to like a local news source, you can tell like what is actual like good information or reliable information and what takes you back to fucking Breitbart. And then Breitbart is their own source, for their things, They're like, we got the blue letters too, but it just takes you right back here because we are our own source for this one. But we did make the letters blue to make it seem like we got a source. But yeah,
will tend to get to the point where it's mostly showing you just this one viewpoint or this one. And so what tends to happen is our brain is like, well, this must be true.
Exactly. Ember said, your bias too is also a fallacy. And to quote, yeah. And you also. Exactly. Yep.
All I'm seeing, everybody sees this. Everybody must think this. And man, did we ever see this in this, again, not to go political, but this is one of the big ones that stood out to me is in this last election, there were so many people that were emotionally distraught and truly shocked at what the outcome was. And so now, because I love watching both sides, right? Yeah. So now I see the one side that won and they're all happy and cheering, and the other side that won, how could this happen? They're just devastated. And the one side's like, how could they have missed it? How could they think this way? How could they think they were going to win? How could they this? And I thought, you know why? Because if I had seen all the things that they were seeing this whole time, if I had gotten the messages they'd gotten, if I had been seeing what they'd seen, I would probably think the same thing too. They were not seeing the same things I was seeing. And we have to realize our confirmation bias was.
What is she talking? Like people were surprised that like Trump won and stuff. Are you kidding? There's some, I don't know. Maybe there were like weirdo Democrats that like were confused or whatever, but like, I thought that was so like I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, if we win, I'm gonna be very fucking surprised. I had been saying that for months. I was like, dude, if we win, like because I absolutely was like, we're gonna squeak by if we win. It's gonna be a fucking squeaker, dude. But like to be like, oh, how could this happen? Really? Did you see like everything that happened? Like we had the person that we had like. Was so senile that we had to switch him out at the last second, with the vice president. And, she happened to be a black woman. So that was already just like, okay, well, you just lost half the voters there, even Democratic voters, because there's so many conservative Democratic voters that would be like, I don't think a woman should lead. And I don't think that black women can be unbiased, actually. Only white people can be unbiased, by the way, Black people got an agenda. Yeah. They take everything personally. White people never do. That's how that goes. But Jesus Christ, In
high gear, their confirmation was in high gear because we all just have it. This is the reason why a lot of times if you get a new blue minivan, you're going to see blue minivans everywhere, right?
Oh, shit.
Like our brains just tend to do it. It looks for.
Sorry, Giselle. I didn't say it. But we only got a couple minutes left. So otherwise I would have, but yeah, we're just we're at the very end here. Otherwise I would have switched out and gone to a different one, but But next time I'll get you though.
Or more of what we already believe, of what we already know, and of what we already see. And this makes it hard to be objective about things.
You're cracking the code.
Or impossible to be objective, you know, but okay.
You are spilling everything of what, how, and why.
The tea. It's the tea. She's spilling the tea, right? Isn't that what the kiddos say these days?
Things are functioning the way they are. It's the lack of critical thinking. It's so good. Now I have a follow-up question on this because we are Christians, of course, and sometimes one of the things that I run into are Christians who are always, or people, even like with different spiritualities, are looking for signs from God.
Wait, what? Kari said a black woman Trump voter. What? Are you serious? Wow. That was like the one demographic that was like the most solidly blue, no matter what. I mean, literally won the election against Trump the first time was black women. Like that is like, we know that, right? The numbers were very concrete. Black women came out and won that election for us. And I think maybe this time they're just tired. They're like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. You know, I'm not, you all got to quit relying on us, but you got to get up and vote too sometimes, everybody else. Okay. I don't.
Tell me, give me a sign. What do you think confirmation plays? What part do you think confirmation bias plays in something like that?
That's wild.
Yeah, there's confirmation bias. There's belief bias. Again, that's very similar about the things that we believe. And I think it can definitely play a part. And I think we have to be really careful on this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yes, we know that God gives us discernment. We know that God will lead us in the step in the direction.
See, this I was hoping to get to, and of course we got there at the last second. But all right, because this is so funny. She's like, and logic tells us, look, we know that God magically communicates stuff to our brains so that we see the patterns that are God communicating with us. But it's not a bias. All right. It's not a confirmation. We're not confirming, we're confirming the work of the Lord. Okay. It's not a bias. It's just seeing Jesus Christ working in our lives. That's what that is.
That we can go. But I think it's also very dangerous to just look for, oh, well, this happened, so this clearly must mean this, right?
Yes.
Well, maybe it does, or maybe it just means it happened, right? Maybe you were just looking for something.
Look at her, like her face, like is completely like shifted gears. Like, hold on a second. Are you saying that when I hear from the Lord about the pattern that I clearly see that maybe it is a pattern, maybe it isn't, and maybe God's not talking to me at all? No.
Anything. And I think it's very easy for our human brains to make things mean things that they don't necessarily mean because we're wanting something to confirm what we want to be confirmed. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm talking a little bit circularly, but I think this can very much happen.
Nope, not circular. Like you're saying, the thing that you Christians do all the time to a scary degree.
And the big question is, how do we know? Well, I don't know that I can answer that question.
Yeah, absolutely. Kara, you can share the GoFundMe, and also if we can get Embers in there too as well, because like I think she had one as well. Let's get all the GoFundMe's going. Come on, y'all.
Very easily and simply for every situation that's out there, because I think there are some times that God gives us what I call little chocolate chip cookies in the road of life, where He's like, yeah, let's go in this direction, right? He tells us his word is a light to our path, but it doesn't mean that the random thing that I saw as I was walking to my car out of Target is the light to my path. Yeah. Does that make sense? So,
but it is though. That's what you do. You're like, oh, that's the Lord communicating with me. Which is why it's confirmation bias, dude. It's so funny that she's like talking about it this way.
We have got to be careful that our brain can find meaning in things that don't necessarily mean anything at all. And we just have to be very aware that can happen.
Yeah. And it goes both ways, right? Like I know somebody who's adamantly opposed to any sort of supernatural anything, where
they're confirming their bias of not magic. happening. That's what that is. They're just confirming their bias.
Or maybe
Unbelievable.
something would happen that would be from God. Nope, can't be from God, right? And so I think that both of these happen.
That is not the same. Oh my good God. Are you serious? With no demonstration of a God, yet they're supposed to believe your interpretation.
Where one is an over, people think that it's over spiritualized and the other is under spiritualized. And it brings us back into this reality. The way that I go about it, this is
funny. The fact that she brought that up is just like, yeah, just like them damn atheists just never thinking that supernatural stuff is happening. That's confirmation bias, right? That's the same. They're just confirming their bias. Yeah, or just like like not confirming anything. We're just not convinced until there's sufficient evidence to demonstrate that something happened that, based on some kind of laws, like physical laws that have never been demonstrated, like supernature, like magic, shit like that. Like you shouldn't be convinced that anything supernatural has happened until you have sufficient reason to think that supernatural shit can happen. You'd have to demonstrate that, and not being convinced of that is not confirmation bias. It's called actually being a reasonable person with a scientific kind of epistemic standard.
my perspective on it is, hey God, if you want to get my attention, I'm here.
Anyway, all right, y'all. Thank you all so much for hanging out. This is a lot of fun. And if you want to go to Cracker Barrel, they got Klan people there probably, or something. Wait, no, that's wrong. Hold on. If you want to, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah. If you want to, shit, I can't think of a good segue. Just shit. If you just go to adamandeve.com. God damn it. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code Bentley at checkout to get 50% off of almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Bentley. Oh, and if you subscribe to RFK Jr.'s plan for the stuff, that's me as a conspiracy, dude. This AI is fun, dude. These things are great. Anyway, okay. Go to adamandeve.com. And but if you want to support the show, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or you can go completely insane like I did the other day after my teeth grew. Apparently, are they that big? Does it look that big? Do they can't possibly be that big. That's just, I look like a chipmunk being dragged to a psych ward. Anyway, but if you want to support the show, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com. Or you could do a bunch of other crap, right? You can become a patron at patreon.com/Apostate. And I want to thank our latest patron. You know who you are. I don't want to out you. It's like doxing, basically. Y'all putting your first and last names like that. I don't know what you're doing. Yeah. But so thank you to our latest patron. But you can also support us by hitting that join button, becoming a member, because a bunch of these live streams go straight to members only. So if you're not a member, then you don't have access to the live streams after they're done being live, right? So if you're the type of person that likes to go back and watch them afterwards, you can do that as long as you're a member, right? But yeah, become a member, as well as just a bunch of other stuff. I've actually been working on this video that's taken me a while right now, so it's kind of why I've been sort of at it. Well, not kind of out of it, but like just trying to fucking make this stupid anyway. Completely different type of video. So we'll see how it turns out, but should be pretty cool though. But you get those kind of videos first, the pre-recorded stuff. You get it first. And there are some that I make just for the members. And so, of course, you get those, as well as members only live streams that are made just for members, right? And we're going to do one of those this week. So, yeah, it's going to be great. I will be putting it in the, well, you'll see it. I'll put it up in the, what do you call it? The members section or whatever, or not the members section, the community section of the YouTube channel. Anyway, but you can also email me at punkapostate@gmail.com. You can join our Discord, and you can follow me on all the socials. All the links will be below. And hey, the main thing is to, there you go, stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.